Welcome to the Bad Movie Night podcast, covering the worst movies you've never seen. We hope you enjoy listening to Bad Movie Night podcast.
Welcome back to the Bad Movie Night podcast. My name is Chris, and tonight we are talking about the Phillip J. Cook movie, Ghost Planet.
Our lives changed forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are back. More Phillip Cook. You would know Phillip Cook from such movies as Despiser, which was Bad Movie Night's movie of the year of 2023. Correct.
Amazing.
22.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Also, Pungo, A Witch's Tale. Also, Outer Worlds. And now, what is this one called? Ghost Planet.
Ghost Planet.
Ghost Planet.
Not a ghost pepper.
Not a ghost pepper.
Not a ghost ship.
No, not a ghost ship.
Not a
It's
ghost
a ghost
hunter.
planet. Not a ghost hunter.
Nope. Ghost Planet. Now, something special. At the end of this episode, you may notice this is a really long episode. By the time span of the episode, when you look at the number, it's large. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, by that, you will be like, wow, this was a really long episode. Well, that's because we have an hour-long interview with the director himself at the end of this episode, so stick around for that.
That's fantastic.
Bonus.
I'm excited to hear that.
Bonus. So I'm excited it's that. But, guys, we are missing two of our members. Lindsay and Spiv are out. They both had work things, which was weird. Lindsay, of course,
Lame.
quitting her job. Spiv, of course, working at his job.
Nah, he's on a train ride,
He's on a train.
which has nothing to do with making ice cream.
Podcasted.
What do you even go to New York for? Like, we have ice cream.
A
What
conference.
is it?
A conference for
Oh.
software
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, a software. Why didn't you go?
I don't know. I should have actually.
Were you invited to go?
No, he didn't invite me at all. He's just like, I won't see you tomorrow. I'm going on a road trip for work.
Someone has to run the plant.
Choo choo.
Someone has to. Did he go by himself?
Yeah.
Damn, that would be scary.
He's great at that. I wish
I know.
I didn't have. He has no anxiety about anything like
Yeah.
that.
That would
Zero.
be the worst for me. I'd be
Really?
so stressed out.
He went to
Yeah.
like
Well, the
freaking
fact that he
Germany
was
to the
eating
walk-in
pizza and
thing.
drinking beer before hopping
think-
back on the
yeah.
train was enough to induce anxiety.
I know. I'd be shitting my pants off the train.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be like no one to bother.
drinking
One of
ginger
7
ale and eating
people.
crackers.
I mean, once I got through my anxiety and got comfortable, yeah, it would probably be fun.
Yeah.
But I would definitely be. If there was other coworkers going, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. This will be something. But by myself, you okay, AJ?
Yeah, I thought I heard a cat or something outside. Sorry.
No problem. Guys, I'm
It's just a
excited
ghost cat
to talk
Yeah,
about
right.
Ghost Planet
or a
tonight.
ghost dad.
It has been a little while since we watched a Phillip Cook movie. He has one that when we were talking about on our interview that we haven't watched that
Yeah.
came out, I think, before
Is that
Despiser.
another sci-fi one?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it really made me want to watch that. So we'll have to put that on our
Put it
radar.
on
Did
the
he,
wheel.
did he talk about
Intruders,
a
I
series
think
at
is what
all?
it's called.
About
Malice?
Malice? and
Yeah,
stuff?
Malice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Oh,
he
that's
talked
so
about
cool.
he talked about pretty much everything. Very very fun, interesting dude with a big knowledge of low budget filmmaking, and he's been around for a while. So it was interesting to hear his progression through like making movies in the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to now, and the web of depression that went with filmmaking. But he was really cool and really fun. So I hope you guys do stick around and listen to that.
So is Despiser like an allegory for the film industry or something? Is that
Well, he actually, the fun thing about
Goddamn
Despiser is
Ford
there's
Tauruses.
a new release coming out that's on Blu-ray because he shot Despiser on like,
film?
no, it
Oh.
was on like Handycam or something like that.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So I wonder what this Blu-ray will look like, but I'm excited to check it out. But Ghost Planet and all of Phillip Cook's movies are on Tubi, so I'm gonna pimp his movies for him since he was kind enough to come on our podcast. Everybody go check them out. They're on Tubi, and that's the
They're
best
fun,
way
man.
for low budget filmmakers to make some actual money from their movies is go there, watch them, watch those ads. His movies are definitely worth the time. So we're talking about Ghost Planet tonight. AJ, if there's one person that I would want to ask about planets, would be you, because you were in Cyborg Planet. And
Oh,
you were
shit.
also dressed up as a ghost probably at one point in your life. So therefore, AJ, what is Ghost Planet about?
a group of astronauts travel to a desolate planet.
Traveling to a desolate planet.
Turns out there was a stranded survivor.
I'm on this planet.
I'm an alien.
Will they be able to escape before the pirates crash their party? Find out in the 2024 sci-fi classic that is Ghost Planet.
Ghost planet.
Rated R because it's too much CGI to contain. That's good. What do you think Lindsay and Spiv would have said during that whole segment?
Well, Spiff did give it. Oh, during that segment?
Yeah.
Well, excuse me, Captain, there's simultaneously too much plot and not enough plot, Captain.
And Lindsay would have been like, they're all a bunch of little bitches.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a fun comment to read tonight. I don't think anyone's seen it, but Chris took some flack. I'll tell you that right now, Aaron.
Uh-oh.
Just
Why?
wait for that one until we get to the listener feedback section. Oh my God.
Chris did? Why are you telling me? What?
Oh, because it's
All right.
about you, but it's to me. You'll
Nice.
see. You will
All
see.
right.
I have
Here we go.
I'm
Give
somebody
it a-
Can't wait.
defending my honor. Is that what this is?
I think so. I think
Gauntlets were thrown.
I've already broken his arm once. We're even now, I guess. Is that how this
so.
works?
That's how it
No,
works.
we'll get into it. It's probably one of the meanest comments I've received of all time on YouTube.
Jeez.
So I look forward to revealing that, and you'll have to stick
Wow.
around.
Is this
for
one of
that.
those ones you're
Stick
going to
around,
regret?
We're sticking
everyone.
around for sure.
I think one of those ones you're going to regret for like 30 years. Like, I still have regrets about calling one of my friends in high school a heartless bastard and him, like, visibly, like, shaken for me saying that.
I feel
Like, I
like
could still picture that in my head, and I still feel guilty.
But
And I
was
haven't
that an
seen-
in-person comment versus
Yeah,
like
it was in
behind
person.
a keyboard?
No, it was in
that
person.
you- 'Cause I feel like those comments are just like, meh.
yeah.
I
just
don't
wait.
remember.
It was in person, and I regret saying it because it was over the top. But
In
I still
person
could picture
to a
his face.
friend
Yeah.
is something different. I feel like people who leave comments like that on YouTube are
Yeah,
just,
they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
garbage. So
Yeah.
whatever. But maybe there's something to it. We'll unpack all that
Cool.
later in the show. But first, we have to dive into Aaron's history. He'll get a little
gonna
context
be-
for the movie.
Very short because we have a long interview coming up after this that we'll definitely talk
That's
about
fine.
his
That's fine.
works and
All
films.
right.
So
So here we go.
Ghost Planets.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Set coordinates for Ghost Planets.
Dude, you could make the next Phillip Cook movie.
I'm working on it.
We can do it live
I've
right
already
now.
started it. We're doing it live.
I don't know where to look.
Why is one
That
upside
was the
down?
idea. He's an alien, that's for sure. All right, so moving along, Phillip Cook, we're going to have a nice extensive interview from him in person, well, recorded, coming up at the end of the show, so please stay tuned for that. We've watched a bunch of his films already. We've enjoyed most of them. I think Pungo was probably the one that was the most divided amongst the crew here. But his most recent film, Ghost Planet, just came out. This was released in June, I believe, in the United States, and then later in July in France to video, I guess is how they listed it. It was a Kickstarter funded project with a budget of approximately $14,000.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
If you're familiar with his films, a lot of them have a good bit of green screen action. This one is probably, I would say, the most usage of green screen of any of his films that I've seen.
That or
To a
Despiser. It's
sort of
similar
Breen-
to Despiser.
Sort of Breen-esque, but much, much better. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I just trying to set the tone for expect a lot of green screen.
Yeah.
Almost like a Sky Captain or whatever. Something like that.
You know who it
Where
reminds
everything
me
is-
of? A Milko Davis style.
There you go. That's a good
what I mean?
Which
comparison.
you told
yeah.
him that.
Which I told him on the interview. Spoiler.
Yeah. Some basic trivia for this film. The flying yellow cabs were the same as the ones used in The Fifth Element. I guess is a model that he somehow got access to. And this is actually considered a prequel to Outer World, his other film, which aired on Sci-Fi Channel in 1987. I didn't know Sci-Fi was around back then.
That must have been pretty early on for sci-fi.
It must have been. So he has a TV series called Malice from 2012 to 2013. We want to
What?
learn more about.
It said it launched in 1992.
What's that?
Sci-fi.
I don't know. This one's in the trivia.
Well, was it sci-fi or was it sci-fi, Rebecca?
I looked up sci-fi.
It's sci-fi, sci-fi, S-Y-F-Y.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like,
Well, it changed, though. But I
Yeah,
think
but
you're right. I don't recall that being around in 1987.
Yeah, probably not.
Chris, I would have been 6, and you would have been... How old, Chris?
When is it?
1987.
I would have been 2.
There you go. Good job. You can do basic math. Congratulations. So you can check out this film on Tubi. It's currently available for free with minimal interruptions or no interruptions if you know how to use a proper ad blocker. His other films are things like Beyond...
Don't recommend Tubi ad blockers, Aaron. For Christ's sake, man.
Jesus. You guys bad
Beyond the
here.
Rising Moon, Invader, Night Flyers, Despiser, Making of Despiser, Making of Invader, Making of Outer World, Malice 1999, Malice Metamorphosis, another TV series. Malice Wars is a short. Malice Metamorphosis,
All right.
Malice Emergence, Malice, or just Malice. He's full of malice. So much malice. He is a writer and director for all, and probably cinematographer for all of his films. The man puts in some serious work. That's basically all I have to talk about because there's going to be, I think, a lot revealed during your interview, Chris.
Yeah,
fair?
that is fair.
Okay.
You did mention the Kickstarter thing, but just keep in mind when we talk about this movie, and if you watch this movie, $14,000,
Yeah, that's awesome.
crazy.
which isn't crazy.
Yeah,
nothing.
that's no money.
No, and
That's
you know how
catering.
much? You know how much Pungo was made for?
How much?
$8,000.
How?
Nice.
yeah.
That's
I don't know.
amazing.
That's so impressive. Yeah.
He does literally everything.
Yeah, he's- He
$8,000.
said he doesn't have like a sound guy or anything like that, so it's like.
Well, I
there's no
remember. I
crew.
think Pungo had some somewhat
Wow.
audio challenges, like with I think was it the Foley in that one was kind of obnoxious at times,
Probably, yeah.
but overall, like his sound isn't like bad, like a lot of Witchcraft or some of the other really bad below budget films we watch. It does not detract from the film, and honestly, even the green screen and stuff.
Which, Aaron, is exactly why we've decided to team up with Phillip Cook to make Witchcraft Year Zero. It's all CGI, all the women constantly naked. There's dong as well. AJ, are
Sex
you on board?
everywhere. It's just
Yeah.
all
Can we have
sex.
a VR version,
VR with
3D?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We should do
I'm
it.
here for it.
I'll make it.
All right, so that's good.
That's
Time
good.
to move on.
Yes,
Shit, I didn't make a fucking bumper yet.
it's Rebecca's turn. She always gets out of it.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
don't want to.
Come on. You can
the
stand up in front of
Patreon.
a class and orate for hours. You can do this.
Join the Patreon.
Join the Patreon,
It
guys.
may or may not be added.
Grow your hair
$2
back.
a month? $2 a month?
$2 a
$2
week.
a month.
$2 a week?
It's less than a coffee.
2 for you, 2 for me.
Join
It's less
Frankie
than
Muniz.
Frankie
Yeah.
Muniz haircut.
All right, that's good. That's probably the worst one we've ever done, guys.
Wow,
Way to go, Rebecca.
gotta start somewhere.
It wasn't
I guess.
Rebecca's fault. It was just terrible. I blame Frankie Muniz, honestly.
I do too.
Everybody
That's fair.
does.
All right. AJ, what'd you think of Ghost Planet?
Ghost Planet was fun. I had a fun time, and that's the thing about Philip Cook movies. You are always going to have an enjoyable, fun time with them. You know, it had the kind of the absurdity that we expect from like some of his other films, over the top, insane amounts of green screen, somewhat impressive green screen at times with like how characters walk in background and stuff like that. Sometimes kind of silly. There'll be like a robot in the corner dancing for some reason. But it looks like a lot of that stuff's done in Blender, and it's done pretty well. Sometimes I felt like I was playing The Ascent, the video game at times, so that got me like really excited.
Oh man.
But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I felt like, you know, of course there's some writing issues here or there, but I had a good time. And that's what you get with a Philip Cook movie. You get a great time.
Aaron.
Yeah, you know, my expectations were pretty high for this one coming from his other films.
What the frick?
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit!
Oh! What?
That is an
Hello,
amazing
guys.
visual. Oh, my God. You have to see this.
Aaron had
Jump
to
in.
Aaron had to go to the bathroom to remove some indeterminate brown goo from his face. So I thought I'd let you know my opinions on this film.
That's your spin.
So I liked this film, guys, and would recommend for fans of Philip's work. There was definitely issues with the story, simultaneously too much and not enough story. But I wish we'd explored the Tesserin tech a little bit more because I love tech. Tech is why I have this big bag of money and a giant fancy couch. But I love the visuals and the Phillip Cook charm of it all.
Thank you, Spiv.
Thanks, you asshole. I'm back. Okay. No, I thought this film was quite fun. I was a little concerned at first with the very visible amount of like green screen going on. But within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I really had kind of tuned that out and just was focused on the film. I loved that there's a lot of like Blade Runner influence. You got a little bit of Fifth Element stuff going on. You've got like classic maybe sci-fi movies with the planet thing. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure I understood all of what was happening, but I think I might actually watch this again. So I was surprised by it. It was pretty good.
Nice.
Rebecca.
Yeah, especially after, like, I watched it and then listening to what Phillip Cook had to say too kind of influenced my thoughts on it as well. And knowing how much work he did, how much of him is in that movie, you can really tell how much care is put into it, how much effort is put into it, and that becomes even more evident. It was a lot of green screen, and at first I had like Neil Breen PTSD, but he does it in a way that's like not
the perspective's like more accurate.
Yeah,
and lighting
like,
is there. And
walking around is a lot better. Like it works better with what
he does
doing.
legitimate green screen.
yeah.
Neil Breen does Breen screen, and
Like
that is
post-
very different.
It's all done in post.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but it definitely has some issues here and there with the writing. I got a little lost at one part, maybe 2/3 of the way through, but it made its way back around and did pretty well.
Okay, did Stefan watch it?
He did.
What did he think?
He wasn't a big fan,
Okay.
but I don't think he's liked any movie that we.
Yeah, he's not there yet. We'll get him there. Don't worry. We'll get
A couple
him there.
years.
He's used to big budget movies. And
Yeah.
We'll get him there.
We gotta ease him into the shit show.
We need to make him watch. When he watches all the witchcraft movies, he'll be ready.
Yeah. just invite him over. We'll strap him to a chair, tape his eyelids open, and just force feed him
we'll
16
We'll
witchcraft
Clockwork Orange
movies.
him some 16 witchcraft movies.
That's the way to do it.
That's how every new bad movie
Yep.
night member.
Asked to join the gauntlet, we'll call it.
and you're never the same
No,
again.
definitely not the same.
You
You'd be
grow
like,
up a lot.
you'd be like, PTSD of Julie Strain's butthole. Wake you up in this
The
cold
kitchen
sweat.
is so dirty.
I am a lawyer.
Why are they having sex on the noodles on the floor?
Must fuck the syrup.
Must fuck the syrup. It's gonna be really hard for me to give any kind of review. I just talked to Philip for an hour. He's a great dude. Really, really enjoyed it. And the thing that I always harp on, I can be really brutal about some movies where I feel like people put no effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear his movies are high effort. It's one of the things I was talking about with Milko Davis as well. It's like, sure, the CGI isn't the same as fucking Wolverine versus Deadpool or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not ever gonna match that.
Yeah.
There's just not the resources and stuff. But the thing with Phillip Cook's movies, and even Milko Davis as well, is like, yeah, at first you're like a little jarring. The first scene or two, you're like, okay, yeah, the CGI is a little not what I'm used to. But after a few minutes, the whole world, it just works in a way. And especially, we talked about like with Despiser, it just started to feel like a comic book. This doesn't quite feel like the comic book thing, but I feel like it's a different theme. But I got used to all the CGI, and it was fun. And the thing that worked for me, that works with most Phillip Cook movies, is the characters. I start to like them in a way. The Max guy, the hunkier dude, was supposed to be Austin. Austin tried out for that role and was offered it, and I would have fucking went.
Did you guys talk about
Had
that?
another kid.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. And I would have this probably would have been my favorite movie of all time if Austin was in it, because I love him too.
Could he play
He's
the
just-
character from that like one movie, Hitchhiker movie or whatever? the hell
Mutated
it is?
Hitchhiker movie. Yeah. This was a fun movie, which does have, like you were saying, a lot of inspiration from Blade Runner and some other things, but I had an enjoyable time. It also had some more horror elements. Like most of his movies are a fun ride of adventure / comedy with some sci-fi, and like it's a very big blender of genres that somehow kind of work. It's like he has a style that not too many people have that I appreciate, I guess I would say. By the end, I think I understood everything that happened. There was moments that didn't shock me, but kind of made me sad, and we'll get to it. And then I was happy to see characters return by the end. Yeah, I thought this was a fun time. Where would I rank it amongst the other Philip Cook movies? I think my list right now is probably it's more near the bottom. It's probably Despiser, Pungo, then this. I don't quite remember Outer World though, so maybe that would change. I feel like that
Outerworld had
movie
some
felt a
cool
lot different.
exteriors and stuff.
I think Outer World felt like a simpler story too.
Yeah.
But you can definitely get a similar vibe to this, just done 30 years previously.
Yeah.
Or 25 years previously.
Yeah, I mean that movie's hard to compare to this too, because that was way before CGI. That was like practical
true.
little miniatures and stuff like that. So
Which were awesome.
This though, I do look at like sequences where there's a scene where like they're sitting in the boardroom and there's like 3 board members and then there's them, and like the reverse shots and stuff, like the camera like moves in but it like past people, and this is all like fake environments.
Yeah, I know, but it
Right.
looks pretty damn good.
And I would have no idea how to do any of that. So so one of the things when I was like interviewing him, I'm like, do you guys like, how do you figure out like
Blocking
these
and
shots
Perspective
and
and
blocking?
stuff,
And he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he doesn't do any. He just shoots it.
Yeah.
And then he just does
He
it
said
in...
it takes too much time to do all of that.
Blocking and stuff. He's
Wow,
like,
so he like
easier
builds
just
around
to-
it?
What?
he works
That's
around.
insane.
Even with the lighting, that's
I mean,
obviously done on set while filming. You think you'd have to have some of that mapped to the lighting in the...
I mean, I guess if he's
somehow, but-
shooting, lighting, and doing the graphics, like he kind of probably already sees it in his head while he's doing it and knows what he can do. It's
Yeah,
super
'cause it's not
impressive.
like he has to give it to somebody else then to do. He's
Right.
Yeah.
shooting the scene and knows what he's shooting and then can
Wow.
go back and
I couldn't even put animated cell phone stuff in transient. I had to hire someone to do that.
It's hard.
Does he
yeah.
do anything with like 3D rendering engines or anything for any of the work? Like use like Unreal Engine
Assuming
or
it's
anything
like
like that?
Blender, right?
No, so I asked him. He doesn't use Blender. He uses some other program that I never heard of that is much
Really?
older than Blender. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Like the dude is doing magic that most people won't appreciate.
For $14,000.
$14,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's recognizable actors. The
The
Captain
older
guy?
detective guy? Yeah.
he was in. I think he was in Pungo, if I recall.
Was he? He looked really familiar.
I'm
he's
like,
not the
really?
one that he said
Mark
is in
Hyde,
everything.
George Stone character.
possibly. I don't know the name off the top of my head.
He
But
was in Pungo
but I like him.
and Malice.
There's really like 4 main characters, and I really like the one woman who gets introduced last, who has a bit of a plot twist. She was my favorite character.
Rudy.
Trudy. I like Trudy. Chris likes Trudy.
That's the younger character trapped on the planet.
No.
Who's
The,
Trudy?
the robot lady.
The robot one.
Oh,
She's not
she looked
introduced at
very
the end,
familiar,
though.
that actress.
She's introduced later than the other
Later.
3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't quite far. I thought you meant
I
like
thought you meant
later
like
in
one of the
film.
pirates or something.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no,
I
she
followed.
was cool.
Thanks, Rebecca.
She definitely played that like uncanny valley sort of thing at first. You're like, wait, she's kind of human, but she's also like
acting
a little weird. Yeah, and not like just bad acting, like a green film. Like I am a robot. No, none
mean,
of
you
that.
gotta-
Like she
you
is
gotta-
just yeah.
You got to think though, like I remember that behind the scenes of when they were making making The Hobbit, and
Right.
Ian, what's his name? Ian, guy who
Anderson?
plays no, not Ian. The guy who plays Gandalf, Ian McKellen.
McKellen.
McKellen,
Ian
yeah.
McKellen.
McKellen.
Like having kind of a breakdown because literally everything is just green screen, and it's
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
hard to put yourself
act
into
to
that
that.
character. And that's like top notch. You don't get more professional, top tier actor
Right.
of all time. And these people are like working in the same kind of environment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be so difficult to do that, but there's still a lot of charm, I think, in some of the acting's wooden, but whatever. Like I still at some point was like on board with most of the characters and the their camaraderie and their interactions and stuff like that. So
I didn't buy that they were siblings, though.
no, not at all.
No.
They even point that out with the voiceover. Like you probably don't think we're brothers,
That's
but
fair.
the casting made us brothers, so here we are.
She's actually my mom, but in this film, she's my sister.
He was like, "You see that hot girl? Yeah. Well, she's my sister, and she's 30 years older than me. And this is my brother, who's 50 years older than me."
This is
No,
my
he's
sister,
not
and
my
this is our
dad.
this is our daughter. You're like, wait, what?
But
Takes place in Alabama. Anyways,
let's get into some of the storyline here. The movie opens with these three, which is I don't remember all the character names. I know Max is like the younger guy, kind of more the lead.
And then George.
George is his
and
brother, who's the
Julia.
captain, and Julia is his sister. And they're piloting this ship, which is a big part of the storyline is that humanity has discovered this ancient alien technology that's been abandoned. They don't quite understand how it all works, but it allows them to
bit of an
the
expanse. type of
advance
scenario.
their reach in it's the same thing as kind of the Expanse, same thing as Mass Effect if you played
Mass
that
Effect
video
too,
game.
right? Yep.
It's a cool idea.
It is powered by ground meat or something. At one point, we are introduced to some meat falling off the brain
that's not
of the spaceship. What is that
No,
supposed to be?
no.
Gum. It's
That's
that
gum. That's the whole.
gabba gabba.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the whole storyline.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
was-
part of,
Big old wad of gum.
Okay, I was trying to figure out where the gum fit into that. I thought it was like piece of meat.
no. That's a major
Okay.
pivotal plot line.
That's why I was confused by that. I'm like,
He-
wait,
he-
what?
Yeah, it
What's
comes
that-
back.
So they jump through these portal things and
Yeah.
different times
Alien
and different
butthole
things.
wormholes. Yeah.
Reveal them to different locations, and at one point during the opening of the movie they find like this technology but have to abandon it, but they don't know how to get back. And it's revealed later that because he put the gum on the device, that's what kind of made them get where they needed to go.
Needed to go.
Unless I misunderstood that, Rebecca.
That's-
No, that was
Right.
like the story, and the gum company was like interested in this, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So weird.
It's
That's such a
funny.
weird plot.
I really love every time they cut to the gum wrapper, it's animated and it just like
Yeah.
that was so funny. Like I love that stuff.
It's funny until it happens in real life when all your products have commercials on them.
Oh, that's the inevitable future.
That's inevitable,
We're gonna
yep.
have. But the movie opens with them in their spaceship. It's a mix between a practical and CGI set. Everything outside of the spaceship is CGI, and like I was saying, they find this place, but they have to abandon it because they're under attack, and because they abandon it, they become jobless, and are now. It's like a couple months have passed, and they're in this Blade Runner-esque city, which was actually pretty cool looking.
That was pretty cool.
There's a bar that they're hanging out with, and the older brother learns that he has cancer and he can get it taken care of via the medical device, but it'll cost like 10 million credits or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he'll have
Large
like
sum.
6 months to live.
Right.
And so they end up getting brought back into the job of piloting this alien spacecraft because of the gum incident and all that kind of stuff. So they go on an adventure, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So where does the other big part of the plot point fit into this? Where we meet this other character, we get
When
some
they get
pirates. We have a person on the planet that we end up
Well,
on. Like,
well,
The robot, or robot, as Chris would say.
The robot.
intersects with
What's her name? Tabitha? Tabby?
with our
Gabby?
lead at a dance club.
Trudy.
And we
Trudy?
learned that she was put on him to like protect him and bring him around so that they could use him.
But when she's first introduced, she seems like a love interest to Max.
Yeah.
And Max, I like the scene a lot where like two guys show up to Max. He's in a bar during the middle of the day, and they're like, "Sir, you signed up to have your kidney removed and had 175,000 credits advanced to you, and you haven't gotten your kidney removed, so we're here to take it today." And
repo, yeah.
But that was like. There was some humor to that whole sequence where they have him like tied up in the back of the van. They're like going to take,
really funny.
They drug him. I like all that. And that's where Tabitha, Trudy.
Not even close.
Trudy reveals her true nature in a lot of ways. Because she is like, they're running away from these repo people, and she just pulls a gun and starts shooting them, kills them dead, stone cold.
Yeah. And then what happens,
leaves.
Chris?
What do you mean? What happens? They go on a bench.
We have the whole car chase in the city, the Blade Runner.
That was cool.
City
the car
with a bit
chase
of
was pretty badass.
That felt like
That was done well. Like, it's impressive what you can do with the screen.
I don't. That's the thing that I appreciate so much. It's like he can write whatever script he wants because he can be as ambitious as he wants because he has the ability to just craft those things with his CGI, whatever,
the skills.
With his skills. And I'm over here like, I gotta write a movie. It's got to be in one room with two characters because I don't have money for more than one room and two characters. You know what I mean? I can't afford to feed two more people. Like, there's no limit to what he wants to do. He can do. So that's cool. And some of that stuff, flying through the city, it looked cool. The when you see the guy driving the car, like it's clearly a car, but for whatever he did with the background and stuff, it sells. Like that worked for me.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty darn good. I've seen high budget films that don't look that good at times, right? So
yeah, I love the background stuff because if you look at it, sometimes it's actually a couple people like cutting.
Yeah, there's real humans walking around.
And then sometimes it's just like animated characters.
Breakdancing.
Cool. The robot.
Yeah, the robot.
When they're eating pizza. Yeah. That was great. Yeah, it's done really well. So after that, they end up getting this deal that they're going to get money from the gum company. They try to travel back to where they were before.
Yep.
But
we go to the moon to do that, right?
Well, but during the traveling sequence, things get really interesting because Trudy, you're like, oh, she's interested in Max. This is before we know she's a robot for a while.
Yeah.
Did you not have suspicions there was something off about her, though? That she was either a robot or some sort of
I thought she was like something.
Genetically modified human or something.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't really think about it, I guess. It makes sense though, but she's like sleeping with Max. She's sleeping with the sister. I think she's sleeping with the older brother or they're talking or something. Yeah. But it's like, okay, this is really weird. It is revealed that she's a robot, but
Sexbot.
She's a Sexbot 3000.
Yeah. And her name's Tammy? Trudy?
Trampy.
Oh my God.
That's what the future is going to be, just sex robots, AJ.
Yeah, well, they're already here. They cost a lot of money.
But they don't talk to you, do they?
I have no idea.
Depends how much money you spend.
There's like
compliment you?
very advanced AI robots now that you can pay. They're like, $50,000 or something. So
we need to make like the Incel 3000 or something.
Ew. God, no.
But that would make so much money.
Wait, does it kill them?
Think of all the Redditors. That would buy that.
It just points and laughs at them.
You gotta find the market.
Finally, a woman that likes me. Who I am. I had to buy her for $50,000.
I don't know why they don't like me.
Why don't they like
Chris,
me?
it could be a subscription thing. You have to work through levels to get to where you really want to, get to that highest level.
Scientology.
Right. And we just keep charging more each month. Like, you got to buy the booster pack this month. And all they want to do is fuck it, but they can't. And we just keep stringing them along like Scientology.
I mean, I don't know. 20 years from now, what will these sex
We
robots
could even
look
sell
like?
one that looks like a couch. Sorry.
Oh my god! Don't tell Spiv that. Oh my god. But so they get to this planet. They're being followed by pirates
Of the Caribbean, I believe. Yeah.
and I liked that their spaceship. They had a much bigger practical set. It looked pretty cool,
It did.
and I like their
I like their uniforms.
uniforms. Yeah, they're always red, so they.
That's actually a good point too. Like the uniforms and stuff looked pretty decent. So they spent some time or money creating the costuming too for this.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
said he does all that stuff too.
That's
Jesus.
crazy. He's just like a one-man filmmaker here.
One man filmmaker. It's revealed that on this planet there is a young girl who has the ability, and this was very convoluted. I'd have to go back and watch
Yeah.
it again of what all transpired because the planet features like people that are echoes or recreations of their former selves.
They're
They're
almost
ghosts.
like ghosts of themselves.
Yeah, and there's some kind of like great alien being that does that.
Yeah.
So she is able to understand this alien technology that they have all been using, but she
It's pretty
understands
cool.
it in much deeper ways and has much more functionality than they know. She's also been raised. Her family has been killed and then downloaded and then recreated in
Yep.
some digital way or something
Right.
on this
And
planet.
that's kind of what the ghosts are.
And that's what the ghosts are. But
Yeah,
I thought
pretty
that was
cool.
cool because there's a moment in the movie where the ghosts, they're creepy looking, but they like
Yeah.
reveal themselves on the spaceship to like the captain who he's like writes it off as like he has a tumor or
Right,
he's like-
hallucination.
He's like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm just
yeah.
hallucinating all this
Right.
stuff. That stuff was interesting. And then, I mean, the movie culminates with like the pirates attacking and these action sequences, which some of the best CGI was when they were driving around in those.
Those had to be miniatures at some point.
those
Some of those
miniatures?
shots.
yeah, I think
tell.
some. I don't
The physics and everything, it looked
Yeah.
like almost like a miniature.
like the weight.
but
Yeah, it's hard to know. I don't know.
I don't
That
know, maybe
looked really
not.
good. Yeah,
It was if it was miniatures, it was composited with CGI and looked
Impressive.
fantastic too. So I don't know, but it looked pretty damn good considering.
I mean, I would guess that a lot of the models are like stock purchased models,
Yeah.
repurposed. So it probably like the quality
Just a
waivers
3D
because
model.
of that, you know what I mean?
And yeah.
But those looked especially good. The texture on the ground and stuff looked legitimate. At times, I was like, "Is that a miniature or is it CGI?" I couldn't tell.
I think really the only detractor is like still like shadows for people. Like they're sitting on
Yeah.
sitting on a bench and stuff, and like
There's
there's
just nothing.
there's not really shadows of their feet or their bodies or things like that are really hard to capture and make it work. So I think that's one area where it makes it look a little bit cheaper than obviously a higher budget film. But regardless, like it doesn't after the first couple minutes, it doesn't detract from it at all. Like I wasn't really focused on those things. I was
Yeah.
just watching the movie. So I think that tells you something, hopefully.
And it's not like Neil Breen where it's like one static wide where he
Just teleports around or
teleports around.
jumps.
This is like the camera. The camera is always moving within 3D environments and stuff, which makes
Yeah.
it way more,
It feels more dynamic, like
way more dynamic.
Yeah, it's not just the static shot like that. Yeah. It's impressive.
I mean, like it's one dude, so like,
So
yeah,
I think cinematography is cool. Story is pretty cool. The concept is really neat. I think the biggest thing for me is just it was a little hard to understand at times what was going on. But otherwise, like the music was fine. It sounded like a lot of kind of stock film
Sci-fi
music,
stuff, yeah.
sci-fi, which was fine.
Yeah.
I don't recall any sound effects that were like really bad or anything.
no, none of the dialogue sounded bad.
The
like, it was
dialogue sounded
unclear, yeah.
fine. Like, this is well made.
When they're at one point, Trudy gets out of the vehicle and she
Yeah.
gets killed, and I was like,
Yeah, I was really hoping
Not
she'd come
Trudy.
back at that.
I like Trudy because
they
she's
re-download
revealed to be like a double cross
Yeah.
kind of situation, but not
Playing
quite.
both sides.
Playing both sides kind of thing, which was interesting. But I really liked her character, and then she gets killed, and then at the end she is revived, and so is the captain because he
Well, as
dies.
another version of herself.
Another version.
Yeah,
I like both versions.
they had a little creepier voice.
Jesus, dude. What the hell?
How sick, creepy.
Get control of yourself.
Oh my god. I don't know. That's all I got. Anything else, guys?
No, I really liked it. I thought this was a lot of high effort in the green screen, like high effort. And it was a fun time. Like this is definitely one you could watch and would enjoy with friends.
Yeah,
Where
I
would
think
you
this
rank
is
it?
definitely a crowd movie.
I put it in the middle somewhere. Like Despisers at my top, Pungo's a little below, and then this is probably above the other sci-fi one. It had a lot more fun than the last.
You put this above Pungo?
No, Pungo is like below Despiser. Despiser, Pungo, and then Ghost Planet.
Aaron?
I think I like the sci-fi elements of this more than I liked Pungo. But Pungo had a different feel to it from his other films, so it was kind of a unique thing for him. I don't recall really loving that film, but I think I respected it. I think this one kind of fits in with a lot of his other films. I don't know that I could rate them like higher or lower. Maybe The Spies is probably my favorite, but this was good. I liked it.
Rebecca?
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, I think I would put it in the same order: Despiser, Pongo, Ghost Planet. But it's not taking away anything from this. I think it just, the different feel of the movies.
Yup. It's a fun time, guys. Ghost Planet. It's out there on Tubi. Go check it out. All right. Spiv recommended it. I'm sure Lindsay loved it. And
Yeah.
I could see that.
All right. Time to move on. Play a game.
Game time, baby.
Your theories are the worst kind of confidence, right? Your methods are sloppy and your conclusions are highly pleasant. Shall we play?
All right, so we're gonna dive into space a little bit.
Oh yeah. Space facts.
I started off with CGI facts, and there just weren't a ton of them, so I
It's fair.
shifted gears. What fruit is most like the shape of the moon? Is it an orange, a strawberry, a lemon, or a banana?
Lemon.
Orange.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a lemon.
Yeah, it is a lemon. It's actually shaped more like this.
Is that wild?
Yeah. But it's just our perspective of it. We see it as round, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
Speaking of lemons, how much does it cost to send one lemon to space?
$300,000.
$12,000.
$500.
It would be about $2,000
Jesus
each.
Christ.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
money right
inflation.
He's just juggling
It's
them
like
around
going to the
an asshole.
grocery
Yeah, he's
store.
just throwing them
Fuck.
like nothing.
That's what they cost.
Making it rain money.
How many feet long is the International Space Station?
Ooh.
1,000.
3,000.
687.
357.
Is that it?
God, it's so small.
Wow.
It
Those
is
poor people are
3
trapped
feet
up there.
longer than, or 3 feet shorter than a football field.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not very big.
And that's you living there up above Earth's orbit. If you could, how many days would it take you to walk to the moon?
See, so it's what, 150,000 miles from here? More
I
than
can
that?
do probably about 12 miles a day.
I have no
42
idea.
years.
Oh, man. Yeah. A long ass time. I have no idea. I don't want to do the math.
So it's about 3,285 days or 9 years.
Chris, you were pretty close.
I said 42 years, but yeah.
I mean, it's a long walk.
That is a
Yeah.
long
That's assuming
Regardless.
you can walk in space, though. The trick question.
It says if you could.
But is it considered walking if you're not on anything of solid ground? Is that walking?
You're walking up.
Well, Aaron, somebody walked on sunshine. There was a whole song about it.
Hey.
To be fair, that's photons, and they are not.
Yeah, that's true.
They have no mass, so yeah.
How fast does a ship need to go in order to leave Earth's gravity?
Oh God.
3,000. No, that's faster than the speed of light.
Probably like 200 miles an hour, right?
1,200 miles an hour.
A ship
No,
need
that's
to go in
way
order to leave
faster. 300 miles an hour.
1,700 miles an hour.
You pass out.
25,000?
What?
Jesus
No
Christ.
miles
wonder.
per
Jesus.
hour.
Wait,
which
how-
is
what is the
almost
speed of light?
Mach 33.
How fast
Speed
is...
of-
Mach 33. How do you?
Chris,
how do you
what
not
did you
pass
just say?
out?
How fast is the speed of light?
Oh my God, Chris!
What? How many miles an hour?
Well,
This is like
what's
this is
the-
like
what's the
point
amount?
zero 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 one
Yeah,
the speed of light.
It's
What's like the-
3 million meters per second.
What's the threshold where someone would pass out from that?
6,600.
Well, it's all about acceleration,
6162.
AJ. Yeah.
Oh my God, the speed of light is so fast. Did you guys
Yeah.
know that?
Yes, and it's still slow. It's still slow. That's the
Holy
crazy thing.
shit, that shit's
still
fast
slow.
as fuck.
At that speed, it would take you like 4 years to get to the next closest solar system.
It's 186,000 miles
It takes
per second.
8 minutes for light to get from the sun to us.
That's
That
why you gotta
far
bend
away?
it, guys. You
Yes.
gotta bend it.
No, light is just slow as
Yeah,
shit.
you go to hell though if you bend it, AJ. We've all seen that.
We've seen that.
But it's badass.
We'll go away. You won't need light.
That's exactly what happens. We go to hell. Okay.
What color is the sunset on Mars? Is it red, green, blue, or purple?
Green.
Oh gosh, I hope it's purple. That sounds cool.
This is depressing. We're never gonna get anywhere.
No, we're not.
No,
can't
of
go
course not.
Speed of light.
Especially, have you seen the guy Elon Musk? Come on. Not going fucking anywhere.
It's blue.
That's so cool.
So this is a picture sent back from one of the Mars rovers.
That's cool.
Showing the blue sunset.
Wonder what it's like to be on Mars.
Probably a lot
Quiet.
better
So
than being
weird.
It's like
here.
the desert. It's like a really remote desert here, just
silent.
rocks and wind,
And cold, right? It's just
and
cold.
really not much of an atmosphere, so it'd be very
Yeah.
very silent. Yeah.
How much does a full NASA spacesuit cost?
2.5 million.
20 grand.
$120,000.
It is $12 million.
Jesus,
per
what?
12 million. I didn't pay that much on
Why?
eBay.
Yeah.
I can make that in my backyard.
Right?
We'll try it
There
on
you go.
Spiv. $12 million.
All
Holy
right.
shit.
$1 million, one suit.
I saw this cool video recently because I was watching space stuff with Seed, and you know how like everything evolves around the sun in our solar system? It showed like a parallel version of that where the solar system is slowly moving through space like this.
It
And
is.
everything's rotating. It's so cool to see that.
The sun is moving through space.
motion.
Yes, we are
Yeah,
all moving.
We are moving.
Orbiting the sun as it moves through space. Is that not
It's
crazy?
so cool. It's like a spaceship. We're all moving.
And everything's expanding.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It's
that
getting
our-
further
cool.
and further away.
Our lives are so short. We'll never see anything like
No,
that.
we won't.
Yeah.
I want to
sucks.
go to see. I want to see other planets.
I know, right?
We'll never.
Yeah.
Have.
I want to find out where life
but
is,
then-
right?
Spores will go into your ear and a
It'd be
xenomorph
worth
will
it,
come out of
honestly,
your
if I could
back.
just. You can Prometheus me. I don't care, just so I can get to
Yeah.
find out there is another planet and there are
If
other
they had
life
the
forms.
if they had the sleep technology, would you go to another planet?
Fuck yes.
Yeah, why not?
You go to Andromeda or something?
I don't give a
that
shit.
has-
Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh no, but at least I made it to
We could
another
do like
planet.
that movie where they send the prisoners out in space. That's the sentence.
There is a movie called Aniara. Do you guys know? Ever heard of this?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you should watch it. It's so good. It's about like they're supposed to be going to Mars, but their ship gets hit by a little something and it gets shifted by like a degree or something. So they just
And you
get
end up
sent
going,
and then endlessly into space. And the movie takes place like, well, what do you just live, but for however many years.
Until you die, until
But
you're
like
out
it
of
goes,
supplies
it
or-
eventually goes to like where it reaches a planet. It's just the movie's crazy.
That sounds
So
awesome. That
it's
reminds me
awesome.
of Stargate Universe. What was that?
Yeah, Stargate Universe.
that was a cool show
short-lived
before it
show.
got. Yeah,
But
kind
yeah,
of the same concept.
Check out that Aniara movie. I love it. It's really good.
How do you spell that? Any ideas?
Aniara.
I think it's on Prime. It's somewhere on
I
streaming.
think it was on Hulu at one point, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Check that out. It's a
It's
really good
floating
movie.
around.
All right, let's move on, do some listener feedback, and here we go.
Read some listener feedback, sir.
Make it so, number one.
Emails. You tiny little emails. You precious little emails. Where are you?
All right, last week we watched Warlock, the Armageddon. First up, we have Sean A. Cavender saying Spiv needs to keep the hair. In fact, there should be more.
Oh, okay.
And there might be more. You just might not be seeing it. You know what I mean? I've seen his back. It's very hairy. Steph took a picture of my back, and there's like weird hair on my back. It was
Yeah, dude.
Because you're old as fuck.
Yeah.
man.
It was gross as fuck.
I'm starting to get it on like the tops of my arms. It's real
like-
weird. Like
Ugh.
my shoulders are getting
No one wants
long
to hear
hairs.
this. People.
I know, it's terrible.
It was
What the fuck?
Disgusting. I was like, just shoot me. Somewhat dweeb 5194 says Spiv keeps the hair. Yes, it is the 5th and 6th Halloween films where Michael Myers has a rune symbol tattooed on his wrist.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
that's fair.
call
I
the
can't-
rune Thorn, and it's actually called Thriziaz.
Huh.
I just can't.
In the
That's
6th film's producer's cut ending, Michael is tricked into walking into a circle of runes of light, that drain the evil energy out of Michael, or some bullshit. I don't really know. And yes, Aaron, it's a ton of patience watching these Halloween movies with all of the different timelines and whatnot.
Thank you for validating my views on those films.
Have Cheetah Will View says, see Thomas, how?
Oh,
You
that's
need to
all
watch
that is.
Attack of the Killer Donuts. So much fun.
What?
Oh.
What is
Okay.
that?
I don't know.
Get it on the wheel, Patreons.
I mean, I've heard of that movie. We just haven't watched it. David Black says Spiv keeps the hair, puts it up in a punky spikes. Alternate title: Warlock, the arm and leg on my side of the car.
What?
The Warlock, the arm and leg on my side of the car. I don't know. What
All right, Dave, you explain yourself.
Yeah.
All right,
We need more.
Are you
Explain
guys
that for
ready?
the next
Warmlock,
one.
the arm and the what? The arm and the leg on the side of my car?
Yeah, I don't know. Usually Davids are really good too. All right, you guys ready for the spicy comment?
Let's
Sure.
do it.
Oh yeah, let's hear this.
Here we go.
Irish Mad Dog says, I'm tired of the way you treat your own brother, Chris, you fucking loser. There are only so many people in the world who give a flying fuck about you, and you choose to treat the ones you love like garbage. Fuck you. No wonder your wife left you, you fucking loser.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
To be clear, this is how we show love. We make fun of each other and pick on each other.
Oh, man, that's heavy.
I mean, I love when Chris makes fun of me or picks on me. It makes me feel good. He cares enough to bring me down a notch.
I mean, I feel like if you took, I don't even know what I think last week I made fun of you for simping for Spiv, and if you took
Yeah,
it
you did.
serious,
That was
brown
pretty
nose
funny.
or
I
some
feel like
bullshit.
you're a little unhinged. And just putting that, my wife did not leave me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not how that went down. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for the comment, though. You could probably just not come back. No one needs you around here. No
Jesus.
offense. We are all friends and real good friends for a long time on this show. So when we make fun of each other, it's out of love and nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, well, it's a comedy
Yeah,
show.
that's
So,
I mean, sometimes we might cross
Kind
the
of
line.
our
but
a
if
little
I
bit.
did say anything, Aaron, I do apologize. You're
No,
my
fuck
brother,
no.
and I do love you, of course. So
No.
yeah, let's just get that.
Dude, keep it up. Come on. Bring me down a notch.
what you got?
What you got?
Jesus.
Bring it on,
I was
bitch.
like, oh my god, guy, we make a podcast about stupid movies. What the fuck?
Yeah. And if had you watched our podcast, you see we all shit all over each other.
Calm down a
the
little
most
bit.
part.
The time.
That's kind of our shtick.
So we do have to spin the wheel.
Oh, yes.
Spin that
Let's do
motherfucker.
it.
Are we going to do the Piper if we get chips?
Sure, let's do the Piper.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Pass the Piper.
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Come on, Piper.
We do need a Patreon film soon. It's been a while.
Yes.
Chippers.
The Piper. Almost
Okay.
Arcadian, which I really would have liked to talk about Arcadian, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
The Piper.
His last
What
movie.
year was that from, AJ?
2024. 23.
Whoa.
It's his last film.
Excuse me.
2023. The Piper official trailer. Oh shit. This looks fucking good, AJ. Holy shit.
I know. I'm
this looks
excited.
Fucking
I saw.
awesome.
I don't know if they actually show him in the trailer, like the Piper, but there's some stills online, and the guy looks fucking scary. I'm like,
All right.
I'm on board for it.
Let me pull the trailer up here. All right, so next week we're going to watch this movie, The Piper from 2023, which is available on Tubi. Let's check out this trailer.
Do you think I'll ever be as good as you? what you hear isn't so important. You'll feel it.
Mr. Gustafson, have you decided on what we're gonna play yet?
Melanie, your music, it is good, but soft. I'm looking for something controversial, dangerous. What do you know about Catherine's first concerto?
Yes.
Oh, let me jump ahead.
It tracks the piper.
Go insane.
This is like a real movie.
Very wrong with this music.
I listened to it. Felt it in my head.
If you hear it, he has you captured.
Oh shit!
Oh, the piper's coming. The piper's coming
for the fucking
No
show.
way, man. It's got like a 3 on
It's going to be
IMDb or
terrible,
something.
Chris.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, it's going to be really bad.
You think
Like a
this will be
3 or 4.
bad?
Yes,
yeah.
it's going to be awful.
It
I
looks
can't
so
wait.
good.
It's going to be
You don't-
fun, but it's going to be
Yeah.
awful.
Dude, the Pied Piper, come on. It's ridiculous.
What is this on?
It is on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
It's got a 4.6 out of 10. It's got 1.2 thousand reviews. When a composer is tasked with finishing her late mentor's concerto, she soon discovers that playing the music summons deadly consequences.
Oh, yes.
Erlinger Throrodson directed this, which is a hell of a name.
That's Julian Sand's last movie,
And
man.
it's Julian Sand's last movie, so that's why we're going to watch that. We're watching The Piper next week, guys.
This will be fun.
Strap in. Get your flute out. Shit's going to get crazy. I never played a flute, but I did play a
Toot that
recorder. It's
horn.
basically the same thing.
Flutist.
There was a bassoon in that trailer.
Oh,
It was
Oh.
me.
There you go.
See them very
Alright, guys.
A real instrument.
The Piper next week on Tubi. Check it out. That's what we're covering. Think Spiv and Lindsay
God.
will be back. I look forward to that. And yeah, that's it, guys. Go watch Ghost Planet on Tubi and follow Phillip Cook, who was nice enough to do an interview with us. And that's what's going to happen right as this show ends. So stick around. More fun to be had. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, go to iTunes, leave a review. That helps out the show. Consider joining the Patreon, patreon.com/badmovienightshow. You'll get access to the Slack and a million bonus podcasts that are on the Slack or on the Patreon
Like
whatever
Battlefield Earth.
dashboard now. We have 30 episodes of Battlefield Earth and all kinds of shit on there as well. Do that, patreon.com/badmovienightshow, and we will catch you here next week, guys, when we talk about The Piper. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Bad Movie Night podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. We are going to be talking to Phillip Cook, notable director. If you are a fan of the Bad Movie Night channel, you will know we have covered several of his movies and always look forward to them. Despiser is one of our favorites, Pungo, and this week we're going to be talking about Ghost Planet. But before we do all that, we are lucky enough to have the man himself come on the show and talk to us. Phillip, thank you for joining us.
Great, thank you. Good fun.
Yeah, I just watched Ghost Planet today.
Cool. That
You'll
helps.
have to. It helps. It certainly does. Everybody else should go check it out. It's on Tubi as well as Amazon and YouTube for rental and purchase. But Tubi is where it's at for indie filmmakers. I know that. So, Phillip, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into filmmaking, and then I got so many things to ask you. So
right out of college, I got a job with an animation company called Broadcast Arts, and this is in the 80s. It was, this is all pre-digital, right? So we're doing animation for like MTV IDs, like the Breathing M, and if anybody remembers MTV and all these crazy logos that were stop motion animated, clay animated, and we were doing back in the glory days of MTV. We were doing rock videos for the Alan Parsons Project. We did the first animated rock video called "Don't Answer Me," and in the company I worked with, this is right out of college. I was going to move to New York. I'm based in Washington, D.C., Virginia, actually. I was going to go to New York, and I wanted to make a feature like an idiot. This is, back in the 80s. And so my partner and I, we had a couple of partners. One was a lawyer, and we created a prospectus, and we did a private equity investment thing and basically recruited lawyers and doctors and dentists and raised money. And we made a sci-fi film called Beyond the Rising Moon, which also it's a number of titles. It's also called Outer World. And we made this film for $114,000 and an orange juice in Virginia. It took almost 2 years in film, right? Miniatures and matte paintings. It's a sci-fi thing. It's set on another planet. All kinds of space. It was really
we
ridiculous.
covered it. We covered it on the channel.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And we got everybody, it's funny when we started shopping around, everybody said, "Kid, you're never going to get this film distributed." It's like, really? And it ended up on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it ended up on, back in the day, VHS was king, and there was money in hard media, and it sold tons of video cassettes. It ran on Sci-Fi Channel for 10 years. We thought, woohoo, we're on to something. Thinking, oh yeah, Hollywood's going to knock now. Shh, crickets, never happens. So, what are we going to do now? So we made another feature, and this one we're going to try to do it faster and cheaper. And we made this film called Invader, which is sort of this Cold War, Doctor Strangelove, sci-fi UFO thing. This is all before the X-Files. And really wacky film, and got that made. And we raised like $50,000 to produce it. We couldn't raise any more money. And so I got on an airplane. I went to the American film market in California, which still exists, and formed my ad in a Burger King. And I came up with a company that sounded like something you heard of before. And I thought, Eagle Films. Everybody's heard of that company, right? No, I made it up. This is back in the day. It was press type, and if anybody remembers the old graphic stuff before digital. So we forged these badges. We crashed the American film market. We walked around to all these booths, and everybody said, "Kid, you're never going to get any money for your picture." Towards the end of the day, I end up at Menachem Golan's suite. And if anybody remembers, he was Canon Films. He did Overtop. He did all Chuck Norris missing action pictures. And I had my one precious VHS preview copy, and they said, "Can you leave it and we'll get back to you?" I'm thinking, oh, that's the end of that. But I did it. I was desperate. I come back like an hour later. They're watching it. He comes in, and Menachem Golan is, think of Jabba the Hutt as a human being, literally. "Come in, little boy." Seriously, I'm not making this up if you actually look him up. And he said, "How much money do you need to make?" And we only needed $50,000 to finish it. And I looked at my partner, and the first words out of my mouth were $150,000. They said, "Done." And literally, we had a contract by the end of the week. We had more money than we ever thought we had. We went back, we finished the movie. That movie, Invader, got on HBO, Showtime, Cinemax. And the one thing about Menachem, he knew how to hustle. He knew how to push a picture. It debuted at Cannes. It distributed. Wow. Apparently, it's still running all over the world in different languages. That was in the 90s. And my partner and I, partnerships are difficult. We had a falling out. And I didn't make a movie for like 12 years. And I had this script for what was called The Road, which was Despiser. I actually wrote it before Invader. And I didn't want to waste a low-budget movie on Despiser because I wanted a big-budget movie. And we were shopping that around, the script. And we actually got it to New Line Cinema, which was run by Bob Shea. And I've still got the letter. He said, "This is a really cool concept. We like this, but we're kind of busy right now." Well, the reason he was busy, they were starting to produce Lord of the Rings. And which was kind of cool because I've always dabbled at the edge of success, but never managed to, really cash in or, you're like people, you're getting meetings and you're going to direct films in different places. And there's so many reasons why a film collapses before it ever gets shot. And, I just kind of gave up on the whole thing. And then after a while, I thought, digital now was a thing. I was learning computer animation. And I thought, what, let's take this old script called The Road, Despiser, and let's see if we can make it like really cheap. And we shot it on Betacam. I self-financed the whole thing. We made it for $35,000 in another orange juice warehouse. And, spent a year on post. Back in the day with 386 computers rendering, trying to do monsters and things, which nobody was doing that except Industrial Light and Magic and Weta and these kinds of companies back then. This is 1998. when we made this picture. And we got it to a distributor who used to work for Blockbuster Video, if anybody remembers Blockbuster. And back in the day, again, physical media was king. We got it into 35,000 VHS, DVD, and 18,000 Hollywood videos. That's money, right? Because you're actually selling physical units. It's this is all before streaming and what have you. And I always felt it was not a particular success, but it made like, I don't know, like $100,000, which for me felt like a disappointment. In retrospect, I'm thinking, wow, gee, I wish some of these films were making. Now we're making $100,000. Yeah. And then I spent another 10 years, screw it. I'm out. I'm out of the business. And then YouTube was starting to come up. And I thought, well, we did the theatrical thing, not particularly successful. We got an HBO, Showtime, Cinemax. Not possible anymore, by the way. Good luck getting a film on those properties. There are no more video stores, but there's this new thing called YouTube. So we thought we're going to make a web series. So I made this web series called Malice, which I thought, this YouTube thing, again, this is like 2010, 2011, after Google just bought it. And it was the Wild West as far as YouTube was concerned. And we started making this show, which was crowdfunded through Kickstarter. And we made 12 5-minute episodes thinking, web series were popping up. Everybody was making web series, and there were festivals and meetings, and we were invited to London. Like, oh man, web series are the future. Well, guess what? They are not the future. At least narrative web series aren't the future. Everybody thought they were. And the problem with Malice was it was getting an audience, but I couldn't produce content fast enough because it was like a feature. And unless you're cranking out material on a weekly basis, there's just no way you're going to survive on YouTube. The cooking shows work, talk shows work, you guys doing video blogs, that works, because you're not spending months and weeks building
producing.
Sets. Producing, right, exactly. In the end, we ended up cutting the web series into a movie called Malice Origin, and we got it on Hulu, and all of a sudden it kind of blew up on Hulu for a while.
Nice.
Back in the day when Hulu was taking indie content. And
not anymore.
But then Hulu became Hulu, and we only take blockbusters, and they created The Handmaid's Tale, and they pretty much threw almost all their indie content off the platform. So that door closed. So yeah, it's been challenging. We're shooting on HD. Why am I doing this? I don't know. And now I consider it a very expensive hobby that ultimately, hopefully, pays for the hard cost. I may be done. I keep saying that.
No, you're not.
It's a creative compulsion.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But looking at this now, so Ghost Plants with a company called Indie Rights, which is actually a pretty straightforward, honest company. And they're all these distributors are going to the same places, right? It's all about streaming now. Physical media. If it's a really cool, interesting, wild film, Despiser, by the way, is coming out on its third release. It's coming out on HD. I just saw these crazy promos for it. They're like having troll dolls and just crazy shit. This all just blew up like a week ago. But Despiser is it became a cult thing, which is great. I'm happy for that. It's the sort of film that people love to rag on, but they're still having a good time.
Despiser was different. People might rag on the quality of the CG or something, but at some point to that movie, when you get 10, 15 minutes in, it all works and meshes, and it feels to me like a comic book in some ways, and it's super enjoyable.
It's its own reality. And I've always felt, when people say, you hear this criticism, oh gosh, practical effects, model spaceships were just so much more realistic than CG spaceships. And I go what? Seriously? It's sci-fi. There's spaceships. You know what a fucking spaceship looks like? Seriously? The Enterprise? It's so stupid. It's like when you watch Star Wars, you suspend disbelief. When we watched Yoda back in The Empire Strikes Back, it was a little rubber dude with a guy operating a puppet. And then they replaced him with a computer generated version. And then I think they went back to the puppet because there was a lot of outcry. But, once you enter that arena, you're totally suspending disbelief, right? I mean, if you're going to get on board a spaceship and go to an alien world, it's its own reality as far as I'm concerned. And if that it's about the story and its character. Are they engaging? Is it real? Well, I mean, it's a movie, man. What does that mean? Real? Whatever.
I mean,
I'm ranting.
But no, the level of CGI and effects work that you put in is really interesting and inspiring to me, because I also have the compulsion of creativity. I can't stop making things. They're all failures, but you just keep going. I'm speaking as myself. Not I'm speaking about you. But when I go to write something new, it's always like, well, I know I don't have this. I know I just compromise on every level till I'm like, well, I got to write something with 3 characters in one location that I can make for $15,000, and it's very limiting, which can also force creativity, obviously. But what I appreciate about your movies is that it feels like there's no limits. You can tell the exact story you want to tell in your own style and way.
Well, so I have a thought about this. So I've been reviewing a lot of indie rights films, and we all review each other's films because it helps, because you're trying to get eyeballs in your picture, right? Trying to get people to actually write about it who aren't going to crap all over it. Mm-hmm. And you're always looking for something positive to say, but I've seen a lot of them. And most of them are what I call two people in a box movies.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted by them because that's really hard to pull off. And most of these movies, quite frankly, they're 85-minute films. They're 20-minute movies, and they go on forever. And it's not that the ideas are bad, they're sound, but it's like everything takes forever. And it's like, seriously, everything you need to say in that conversation was said in the first 15 seconds. But no, I got to listen to you guys talk about it for another 3 minutes. 3 minutes is an eternity. The greatest sin in making an independent film is being boring. Boring. Dear God. And it's painful to watch some of these things. And when I do see one that's creative and they're, zombies or gunfights or whatever, it's like, woohoo, right? That's great. And even though it's not, world-class stuff, it's like, but I get it. It's creative. It's interesting. Things are moving. And it doesn't have to be gunfights or whatever, but just not static people talking to each other ad nauseum. And I hear what you're saying in terms of, when you write the script, in theory, it's the idea. Oh yeah, in my head, I can see how it looks. And then shot by shot, scene by scene, set by set, you destroy that vision with the reality of
all compromise.
It's all totally. But I think it's even compromised on the $150 million level to a 100%. Degree as well. So the problems are universal, and it becomes this other thing. And hopefully this other thing is still, it becomes another thing, but it still can be a cool thing. And hopefully it has the heart and soul of what you try to set out to do. Maybe it's not as expansive or polished, or, things didn't quite work out the way you wanted to. I don't know. I guess I lost my train of thought on that. In terms of, in terms of, I think the one thing that differentiates my crazy films the most is I'm not going to be stopped by the limitations. Like there's always a way to skin a cat, right? If I'm going to, I want to have a battle with maybe not 10,000 guys, but, maybe 100 guys. And I'm going to try to figure out or engineer a way and design around what I can pull off, at least what I think I can pull off, design to my strengths and, not to my limitations. Like I don't do a lot of prosthetics because it's not a skill set. This guy who did Terrifier, obviously that's a skill set for him.
Yeah, I know, and I know like some of the people who worked on Terrifier 1, 2, and 3, and like that's one of the outliers in this whole field. Like Terrifier 1 was made for very little money, but it caught on, it broke through.
Yeah.
And like that's the only chance you have, is that something maybe breaks through.
That's the only one I can think of, by the way, that's broken through in a long time.
It really is, without any named actors or anything in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only chance you have, maybe like Skinamarink, if you ever saw that, which I despise that movie. But unless you're making like a horror movie, that's your only chance, maybe, of breaking through.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I love horror movies, but it's just. I just remember getting in a review for one of my films, one of my documentaries. They didn't like it, which is fine. I don't care if you didn't like it. I appreciate the fact that they left a review, but it was like, I bet these guys are sitting on a beach just enjoying the money. I'm like, dude, you have no idea what it's like to make a movie. You have no idea.
You know what's so offensive about those reviews? I don't mind the ones that criticize me when they've got points. It's like you guys, you were talking about Pungo. I watched the whole thing. It's like, oh God, they caught that. Oh, they saw. Oh, bitches. They right. You guys got it. But you had empathy for it. You had questions as to why I made decisions. But like I could see, and I think it's because maybe you're all filmmakers. I think you're all filmmakers. I'm not quite entirely sure.
Me and AJ are. The other people are not, and Lindsay is. Yeah.
And Lindsay, yeah, because I did some research, because she's the only one I could actually track down, you and Lindsay. I couldn't find any research on anybody else. It's like, okay, they get it. But these reviews that feel like you're trying to cheat them, like, oh, he's trying to pass this off as a $150 million Marvel movie. How dare he, make a sci-fi film that looks as cheap and cheesy, like I'm trying to steal, like pull the wool over their eyes. And that one is like, really? I mean, I get it, you don't like it, but like, you actually think I'm trying to pull dollars out of your pocket?
It's not. My movie, there was a review, somebody completely compared it to the show The Last of Us, which is like 12 hours long when you put all the episodes together or something like that. Each episode is like $20 million. I'm like, we made this movie for $15,000, guys. Like, what? How are you comparing these two things in any reality?
They're talking about your film you just made?
Yeah.
Well, exactly. I know. And some of these people, like some of them rip on me. And I go and I look at their reviews on IMDb, and they've reviewed like 500 movies, and every one of them is a 0 and a 1. It's like, what kind of bitter soul are you that first of all seeks these low budget movies out in the first place, and then just craps on them? I mean, I want to meet you. I really do. I want to meet that guy. Are you secretly is that the serial killer who is killing people in Long Island? That insurance guy who looks like he's your neighbor. It's like who what kind of cruel soul are you to deliberately seek them out just so you can crap on them? That's a weird thing to me.
It is weird. I mean, we have a channel called Bad Movie Night, but I don't know. I like low budget movies. I will crap on a movie when I see a movie that I feel like somebody put zero effort into. That's where I get frustrated. But when I see somebody really trying, that's what I love to see.
Yeah,
but it's, I mean, dude, it is hard to make a movie. And I don't think people quite understand how difficult it is and a miracle it is when it comes together. But also, for an audience, I guess they don't really need to know all that, and they can just judge it blindly. It just feels so unfair when your movie is compared to such massive
I agree. And, and part of me goes like, the audience should be selfish. I don't care what you guys went through. Entertain me, right?
Right.
And I get that. But, the thing, like with sci-fi, at least what I thought with Ghost Planet, and I don't know what you guys thought of it or what you thought of it, but it's like sci-fi people have seen everything, right? They've seen it all. They've seen all the Marvel things. They've seen all the Star Trek things. They've seen all the Star Wars things. And I'm personally sick of the Marvel thing and the Star Wars thing and the Star Trek thing because it just feels like, and I was trying to make a film. It was like the kinds of films that I would watch as a kid. John Carter on Mars. I mean, these are really difficult movies to watch now, but I love them because get in a spaceship, go to a mysterious world, and have an adventure. And I think if you're a sci-fi person who maybe even has an appreciation for even some of those old films, When Worlds Collide and Forbidden Planet, whatever, and you watch these films, and those are massive endeavors in their day, but you look at them and on one hand, they're cringy. On the other hand, they're absolutely wonderfully marvelous and spectacular, and you just love all the dated, I mean, in Outer World, I caught a glimpse the other day, it just cracks me up. I laughed out loud. I got one of my characters this is again, it's the future, right? It's a prequel or it's a film in the same universe as Ghost Planet. And my character's running away from these guys trying to make a phone call at a phone booth and has a pocket full of cash. And I'm like, oh my God, it just slays me. It's like 1985. And of course, phone booths still exist. No. Yeah. And cash means something in the future. And I love that. I love the of it. So I'm hoping that sci-fi people, I mean, they tend to be a really smart, sophisticated audience. They tend to be a little opinionated because they know better than everybody else, because they're probably one of the smartest kids in school. So they're going to tell you all the things you got wrong in your picture. And if I ever made a movie, I would do it the right way, and I would have the right cast and crew and do that. Oh, look, hey, hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Well, the thing about Ghost Planet is it's quite a departure from Pungo, because Ghost Planet is like almost every scene there is some sort of green screen or CGI effect, while Pungo also had a lot of like real locations with, you know, some CGI added and stuff like that.
Pungo was, I would say, 90% on location.
Yeah.
And we made it. We made that film for $8,000.
Okay. That's impressive.
And I thought, you know, and literally it was an exercise of what's the cheapest movie we can possibly make with the resources we had. And we shot it on we basically stole all the locations. I'm not going to tell you where we went because they would probably come after us. But all these national parks and, you know, historical places. And we just went in there with a crew, you know, in wee hours in the morning. It's just amazing what you can get away with, by the way, particularly Sunday morning at like 8 o'clock. You know, bringing in, you know, dozens of ragmen with guns and setting things on fire, and you have a battle, and you shoot your scene, and everybody's out of there by 10 o'clock, back in their cars and heading out before the park rangers are even finished eating their donuts and coffee. So that's kind of how Punga was done. It was shot at all kinds of historic sites. But it's like, okay, what's the cheapest movie we could make? And I'd always toyed around with this idea of, you know, again, going back to that idea of two people in a box, right? Mm-hmm. The limitations, what do you have? Well, what if you take a house, a regular house, and it's transported, just like Dorothy in Wizard of Oz, to another world? And it's an excuse to do crazy stuff in relatively mundane environments. And that was sort of the general idea. And I came across this kernel of a true story, which we completely butchered. Oh my God, the people of Pungo, people who love The True Witch of Pungo hate me because I so bastardized her story. And I go like, yes, keep hating me and keep posting.
Yeah, keep commenting, please.
Keep commenting. I love it. Yeah. Keep going. And that's, you know, to me, in one way, it's like, come on, man, I'm pumping up that little obscure community down. It's a real place, Pungo, Virginia. It's wine country now. And they go, there are no mountains in Pungo. Yeah, but Pungo's a flat swamp. And our thing looks cool as shit because we got castles on a mountain. And we've got tree creatures. And, you know, hey, in our world of Pungo, we got mountains. So
that's right.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I get it. Just throwing this out there, you'll see that Sean says, I watched Ghost Planet with my family last night, and we all really enjoyed it. Admire what you've accomplished on such a low budget.
Oh, thank you.
You go. So, Philip, do you do all of the graphics, the computer-generated stuff?
On which film?
Well, let's talk about...
the answer is yes. Which film specifically? I mean, all right, so on Pungo, I did everything, but I have my monster maker, Corey Collins, who actually made the Despiser, and he did all the creatures in Despiser. And it's so funny, my friend Corey, very talented guy, when we did that film on these little 486 computers, and he looked at it, you know, like 10 years ago, and said, Phil, oh my God, it's such crap that we did back then, and I can't believe we did it with the tools we had. Let's redo it. I said, Corey, are you out of your fucking mind? No. Yeah, he wanted to hit it again because his skill set, the software, everything is so much better. It's like, no way in hell am I opening up that picture again. It is what it is. But he helped do the tree creatures in Pungo. So that was his work. The other stuff, everything else was pretty much, sadly, me. So anyway, I don't know.
What about in Ghost Planet?
Oh, Ghost Planet. That was 100% me, with the exception of the robot that's only briefly seen. And my dear friend Corey, he's a really wonderful, talented guy, but he's got some health issues, and he's basically retired now. I mean, this picture was almost killing him, and to the degree that it's like, this is the last version of the shot I can do. I'm out, and it's like, okay, I'll take it, right? I mean, we're going to try to improve, that's fine. I respect that. It was difficult. Otherwise, I was going to have to cut it out of the picture. But no, everything else was me. Sorry.
What does that process? What does that process look like then? Are you storyboarding so you know how to do camera movements, or like what is this?
I used to storyboard, and I would try to. It just takes time. Storyboard takes time. It really does. And I would, quite frankly, I stopped because the movie. I do everything. Okay, there is no audio guy. There is no camera guy. There is no focus puller.
Yeah.
Literally, in particular this case, because it was a studio film. In other words, in my little garage, I did everything. I did the lighting, everything. Sometimes Mark Hyde, who played the older brother, he's my producing partner. He would help do mic, audio stuff if he was not on camera. So I'm literally doing the entire production, building the sets. I mean, I had some help from a friend of mine. So I built the sets, working on costumes, kind of wrangled the costumes. Yeah, all of it. Bought it, designed it. So I would storyboard the day of the shoot, because I'd get up at 4:00 in the morning. People would be comments like, "Oh my God, what are we doing today?" And my biggest fear is forgetting shots. And I'm sure you know what that's like. It's like, "Oh my God, we didn't get the reverse, or we didn't get the whatever," just missing stuff. And I only made two technical mistakes in the entire picture, which is amazing considering I was truly flying by the seat of my pants 100% of the time. Just me and the camera.
How long did it take to film?
It was a 2-year from the moment we finished the script and I started acquiring materials and started building sets to the moment we had our screening in a movie theater was 2 years.
Okay.
So that's, assembling costumes, building sets, shooting the picture, casting. Oh my God, casting. What a nightmare. Editing it and doing the compositing. And the compositing was killing me because it was in 4K. And with this new camera, which had this huge.
What did you shoot with?
I shot with the Panasonic Handycam called the CX350. Everybody goes, "What?"
Okay.
And I always say, you know what? It doesn't matter about the camera. Any camera is going to do a great job. It's about, do you have control? Do you understand your tool? People who shoot with red, great, knock yourself out. People shoot with Panavision, woohoo, have a good time. It doesn't really matter about the camera. So we shot with this camera, did a great job, but because of the bit depth, the compositing was crashing my computer constantly. Like in the old days, I could set up a 3-minute scene and walk away from it for like a day for it to composite. This was like crashing every hour. I had to literally like do one shot at a time, sometimes 72 frames at a time, just because compositing 4K with all the layers and all the color depth and all the stuff going on was just.
What are you using, like Blender or?
Nope. Nope. All old school, man. I use Lightwave. And I know, Lightwave. Does that even still exist? Believe it or not, it does. After Effects.
After Effects. So are you on a Mac or a PC?
On a Mac for the compositing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was editing Transient, I did the majority of it on a PC, and there was a point where, that was like 8K footage, most of it, so. And I didn't use proxies, which is my own whatever choice, but
you could actually play back 8K.
It was a little rough, I'll tell you that right now. And then I eventually switched over to a Mac Studio, and Premiere just was like night and day. Performance better on the Mac. So.
Did you buy it? Did you buy the Mac Studio?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I'm a full-time video. I do full-time video production, so I majority of editing.
So I actually ask you guys real quick. What are your day jobs besides? You go first, Chris. I mean, I know you've got all these documentaries and things. How are you guys paying? I know you're not paying your bills making movies.
No. But I do video production, commercial video production, stuff like that.
Okay, so you have your own company,
freelance editor. Yeah.
Yeah. And how's it going? How is that business?
Last year was amazing.
Cool.
This year's been going well. It's been fine. It's been fine.
Okay.
But
okay,
it's hard. It's hard. The hustle is hard.
How
when
about
you're freelance.
Rebecca? Oh my God! Tell me about it. Thank you're not in the movie business. Okay, my daughter's a teacher. So I say I've been professionally unemployed my entire career, which is another word for freelancing. I actually made my money doing political advertising, and the same thing. Museum. Okay. I did a lot of my work is in museums, video in museums, and what have you. And the movies. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they do make money. I couldn't live off of what the movies are making. And that's kind of a tragedy. I mean, I don't know. It would be nice that, and I feel bad because I don't pay my people much of anything. And they're kind of into it because they're never going to get roles like this. Because movies I'm in Washington, D.C. Rebecca didn't hear that. I'm actually in Falls Church, Virginia, right across the river from Washington, D.C. But I say Washington because it makes it easy. But look, when movies come to town, they don't cast local. When they cast local or security, Secret Service people, background, House of Cards are shot here, all kinds of things are shot here. Homeland is shot here. But they don't hire local cast. So here, these are juicy roles. You get a chance to actually do something. So
yeah, my friend Austin Green, I think, auditioned for one of your movies.
I tried to get Austin to be in Ghost Planet.
He's a great actor, too.
I know. I said, Austin. And we had a conversation. I think we actually spoke on the phone because I had such difficulty getting people to commit to this project. And I said, come on, dude, come on down. No, man. And I mean, there wasn't much money. It wasn't, I think he just had another kid.
Yeah, he's got 5 kids. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a great conversation and he would have been great. So I was going to cast him as the part of, God, I forgot the name of the character now.
Max or whatever?
Max, yeah. Max. He would have been a great Max.
He would have been awesome.
He would have done a great job. I mean, I love the guy.
I like the guy you had too. Yeah.
But I could have seen Austin pull that off. Totally. Right. It was right in his groove.
It randomly came up at one point where he mentioned your name, and I was like, wait, you auditioned for Phillip Cook movie? He's like, yeah, but I couldn't make it work with the money and having to drive and all this stuff and we just had a kid.
Yeah, I was going to put him up in my house, man.
I was like, dude, you fucked up.
Look, this is what I tell everybody when they don't in my movie. Like I had this one guy. So I actually wrote this film for 2 of the main cast members of Ghost Planet. The woman who played the witch was going to play the sister. And I wrote it for her. She was great. She would have been great in the part. And the guy who played the sidekick in Pungo. I wrote the part of Max for him. And both of them didn't do it. And I told him, look, you're going to regret this for the rest of your life. I know you can't see it now, but you will. Because anybody who's never been in my films particularly because these films, they go on for decades. For whatever reason people are still digging these ridiculous things up 10 years later. And I've actually had some other actors in the past who turned it down for weird other films in the past, people who were like going to be an invader. And they were the lead roles. No, I can't do it because I had a falling out with your partner. Dude, come on, you got to do the movie. They didn't do it. And then years later, he goes, Phil, I absolutely regret not being in your picture. Biggest mistake I ever made. I know. Sorry. I have no humility when it comes to that. It would have been great. You would have been great.
Yeah. I've worked with Austin a bunch. He's been in a bunch of my short films. He's a legit actor too.
So Chris, you're in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania, outside
Philly. And he's in Pennsylvania. Okay.
He's in Gettysburg, yeah.
Gettysburg.
So he's like an hour and a half away from me, but we still collab a lot, yeah.
And Rebecca, where are you?
I'm in Pennsylvania too. I'm in Lancaster.
Okay. And how about the other 2 folks who you normally Lindsay's what, in Las Vegas?
No, Lindsay's in Iowa. Everybody else is in Pennsylvania, yeah.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Okay, so you've all kind of met.
We're all friends from like
high school
and earlier. So
okay,
we're all from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, for the most of us.
Okay, and did you form Bad Movie Night as a COVID response, or does this predate COVID?
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. I think I made it in 2015. And it was really like, so AJ, who's not on here, and Mark, who's not on here, but we would just, in high school, the best thing in high school was going to Blockbuster and finding some random ass movie and just watching that shit. We watched so much stuff. Yeah. Love low budget movies. And so, when you get older, you start losing contact with all your old friends and stuff. And it was just an outlet for us to all hang out again together. And we've just continued doing it for 8 years.
But
yeah.
I could see you. I watched for an hour. I actually watch you guys cackle on while I'm working and listen to you guys talk about this stuff. It's like, oh, this is actually pretty amusing. So good job.
We've covered almost all of your movies. We haven't covered Invaders. We did cover Despiser. We covered, what's the first one called? Outer Worlds?
Outer World, yeah, which is part of the same universe. I don't know if you know that. Same universe.
No, I didn't know that. Planet. We covered, I said Despiser. We covered Pungo.
Malice. You haven't done your Malice.
We have not done Malice.
Yeah.
What's this? Is there a movie, Psycho Scarecrow? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
I thought maybe that was yours.
No.
1990. Okay, that movie reminds me. There's a director that reminds me of your style. His name is Milko Davis, if you've ever heard of this guy. I think he's out of Texas, but very ambitious movies like yours. Definitely feels different and a mixture of CGI and practical miniatures. But in the same vein of like, I have this story, I'm going to tell it no matter what.
Yeah.
And they're always extremely fun because of that.
Yeah. I'll check him out. Milko Davis. Milko?
Yeah, Milko.
Well, all right. That's going to be easy to find.
So what do you, what was, if you don't mind, what was the budget for Ghost Planet?
$14,000.
$14,000. Okay. That's not, that's nothing for a movie that's entirely CG for the most part.
Yeah.
No, and so I've got this film with Indie Rights. And I just got off a phone conversation with them yesterday, actually. And our first month is, look, it's all relative, but it's not bad. We're doing pretty well. The thing that's fun about this company, Indie Rights, is when they send out their quarterly report, they send out everybody's movie's performance. So they represent 1,200 titles, or maybe I don't know what it is, a lot, over 1,000. And you see the performance of everybody's picture, how it did on Tubi, how it did on Amazon, how it did on whatever the platforms are. And you know what that data is worth? It's fucking priceless.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
And what's interesting is like, okay, because you know what it is? And this is where I realize this is why can I swear? We're all fucked. Yeah. Because
no one's making any money?
The entire, no. So there are 3 titles that are making all the money. And they're African-American movies on Tubi TV. And they're maybe making 2 or 3 of them 80 to 100 grand a quarter.
Wow. Yeah.
Those are superstars. So you've got 2%. I think it's generous. 2% of your titles making 60% of the revenue for the company. 20% of the titles, of which I think I fall in the category, making whatever the numbers are. I'm throwing this out. 30% of the revenue, and then the remaining 880 other titles they're the other remaining 10% revenue. Some of these are 0 or 10 $50 or $100 or what have you. So it's fascinating to see what performs and what doesn't perform. Although it's really interesting. They're clever. I think they're very straightforward people. It's very transparent. You can't hide shit when you see the performance of everybody. So it's a very straightforward company. And what you see is the state of the movie industry when you are out of the loop. And when I say out of the loop, when you're out of the Netflix, Hulu, Amazon production loop, or the studios. Honestly, I almost feel the studios aren't even that relevant anymore. Disney owns half of everything. If you're not, getting a production deal with Hulu or a production deal with Netflix or a production deal with Amazon, you're not. So, Chris and I were talking about the one film that broke out, or the franchise that broke out was Terrifier, which came out, 2020? right? 2020? Is that right? I'm not quite
It might have been a little earlier than that.
I
2019.
think it was a little earlier than that. I'm looking it up.
And I was watching it. I mean, I personally don't want to make that movie, but I appreciate 20s. Oh, so it's been out for a while. And I can see, so a friend of mine told me there are all these horror cons. They're really gore fest. The whole like Star Trek conventions, but they're horror this, where people are really into this gore stuff. It's a genre that doesn't appeal to me, so I could never make that movie. I could never figure out. I don't even want to toil in that universe. So the thing that makes me stand out is making outrageous fantasy films. So I don't know if that's. I'm not sure I'd call myself a poster child of success.
I was telling you we have a new movie that's done, shopping it around, but Indie Rights did offer us, to sign on with them, and their contract looks good. It's like the same. Their business model is like almost exactly the same as Film Hub, which is great for these low budget, no budget filmmakers because it's really clear what they take. It's an 80-20 split, which is better than most.
I'll tell you why I think Indie Rights is better than Film Hub.
Yeah, please. I'd love to know.
I believe they're hitting exactly the same markets.
Okay.
So that's not going to change. Okay. The difference is Indie Rights has its internal. I shouldn't probably be saying this on a public channel, but they have their own support network. So they muster all the indie filmmakers who are all desperately trying to get eyes on their films, and so they will all come to your rescue. They will all watch your film. They will review your film. They will write. They're cool. All, and that I got to tell you is priceless, right? Because we're all at this game. First of all, the film has to be watchable in the end, right? You can't sell a turd. I mean, you can sell it for a while, but in the end, a turd is a turd and it sinks. But you got to get eyeballs on it, and you got to get the algorithm to recognize. And it's all about that first quarter too. Yeah. And you got to get the algorithm, and you need that when that bell goes off and the horse is out of the gate. It's all about that first couple of weeks, and you need all those voices out there reviewing and liking and talking and sharing. Film Hub I don't believe, has that.
No, it has nothing like that, yeah.
That is the strength of Indie Rights, and quite frankly, that's a valuable thing because nobody has a market budget, and that is a way of getting eyeballs on your picture.
I just when we had a deal with 1091 Pictures, it was night and day compared to the stuff nowadays because, and this was 3 years ago, if even, but our movie would come out and you could find it on Amazon, like you could find like browsing new releases and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's not a thing. Like my movie came.
What years was this working for you?
2021 probably 2021.
Oh, okay. Well, that's recent.
Yeah. And like now, like I will get a link saying, "Hey, your movie's out on Vudu." But if you go to Vudu and you look for new releases, or you go to look to new sci-fi or new rentals or whatever, it's not there. And so the only way to find the movie is by typing it in.
Yep.
It's essentially, it's not on the platform then. No one's going to find it. It's
that's right. It's impossible. Right.
So why even put it on there? Like that's the stuff that's like.
If you're not in the algorithm, you're dead. It's over. And that's the thing with Tubi. And we're actually right now doing pretty well on Tubi. And it's a great title. I came up with a great Ghost Planet's a great title for a movie. I can't believe nobody grabbed that title. That it's been sitting there unused all these years. It kind of sells itself. Whether or not it satisfies the audience, I don't know. Look, I'm not even asking you guys what you thought of it.
Well, we will get to that. You'll have to watch the episode of it. We're going to film.
Oh, did you already? Oh, so you're doing it? You did a different episode?
We'll be doing it after this. After we're.
Yeah. Okay, then you can crucify me. Good. I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be cringy. They're going to it's going to be awkward for you. It's going to be awkward for me.
Did you not do like a TVOD? You didn't do a purchase rental time period for Ghost Planet?
We are on Amazon right now.
Okay, but it
was short. So
okay,
and like you, and I will say, even Indie Rights doesn't know when these things get published. So
No,
I've got
they don't.
They don't know. They don't know. They don't tell them. And she said, look, within the next 5 weeks, it's going to show up. I said, well, do we know? Because I can't get it. I can't submit it to reviewers. Reviewers won't review until they have a release date. So I can't proactively, go out there and, try to get some momentum on this thing. So it is frustrating, but they don't know, Indie Rights doesn't know. So you got to just constantly keep searching. I just discovered it was on Tubi.
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks after it hit Amazon. So that wasn't deliberate. It's just a thing. And when we say TVOD on Amazon right now, it is totally only TVOD, which quite frankly, nobody's going to pay for my movie, and I don't blame them. Nobody's going to pay for a no-name film. They're not going to take the risk. There's so much content out there. Really, am I going to spend $2 and see a movie about two people in a box, right? Mm-hmm. And so many of these are two people in a box movies. It's like, I'm not going to do it. What you want is Amazon Prime. Now, Pungo, before they changed the policy has changed since I released Pungo and Ghost Planet. Pungo got on Prime, it's still on Prime, so anybody can watch it.
What's that through, though? What distributor?
That's it. Well, that's the same thing, Indie Rights.
Oh, Indie Rights, okay.
So I went back to them, although now the revenue for Pungo is like worthless. Yeah. But the one thing I've learned just recently, a friend of mine did a science fiction film, and you really got to relentlessly post. And I thought, posting on my social media, which I disdain. All filmmakers hate social media. Oh, me, did you see my me thing? And here's my me thing again. And by the way, if you didn't see my me thing, I got one more me thing. Look at my, right? And it's like, oh my God. So you try to do it through your company so your friends don't go, Jesus Christ, Phil, please quit talking about your movie. You don't want to be that guy. But you do have to pump the social media beast because in hashtags are everything. I just learned this. I'm learning social media. I despise it. I'm a despiser. But I'm actually learning social media, and I'm starting to kind of get it. And it's all about linkages and making connections. And eventually, if like Tubi reposts your movie, once it's on the Tubi thing, that's a whole nother level of promotion.
Yeah.
So it's kind of leveraging the algorithms, trying to fathom that crap.
I've even, maybe I'm being too nihilistic, but I feel like I don't have enough reach on social media to actually make any difference anyways.
Look, I'm an old, bald white guy who wants to listen to me. I'm a dead man walking. So, but you can't think that way. And so you have to come up with constant new ways of not repeating the same message. Like in the case of your film, how does a neural network work, right? What's the mystery of the helmet? Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could capture your dreams? You're asking a question. You're engaging them in a story. It's not constantly, did you see my movie yet? Did you see my movie yet? Sure. And for the most part, it's a fart in a hurricane. Mm-hmm. But eventually, I have actually seen this work. And when I say work, I'm not talking about in a tsunami Taylor Swift kind of way. That's never going to happen. But at least you're not actively typing in a search engine, does my film still exist on Vimeo? Is it still there, right? Is anybody? Is it still in the basement underneath the tarp, beneath the old paint cans?
Yeah. I mean, and it had like that movie I was telling you about, that Skinamarink movie. That movie only came to be because it had a short film that kind of went viral on TikTok and stuff like that. Dude, I just not to toot my own horn here, but I submitted a short film to a local film festival because I thought I need to get out and network more. And then I fucking forgot to even go to the film festival. But I submitted like a 3-minute long short film I made 3 years ago. I won the film festival and I won $1,000. And I was like, this is the easiest filmmaking money I've ever come across.
I hate you.
I know.
Didn't even have to
I want to be
up.
at that fucking film festival. You didn't even go.
I didn't even go.
You lazy bastard.
I
know. That's great.
Yeah.
Too good by the way, for the film festival.
I gotta say, Chris, it sounds like you actually have a fair amount of success. Certainly with the documentaries.
Yeah.
now you're in narrative feature hell. And look, man, if you crack it, that's amazing. When you told me you were getting $10,000 a month for your documentaries,
that was great.
Are you kidding me? I would die for $10,000 a month on these features.
I mean, it was split between me and my partner, but it was great for the 6 months, and then after that, it was all stolen. But yeah.
Well, but my point is that the money was coming into the company because when you see these reports, it's like very few, $10,000 a month, man. That's good baseball, right? I mean, that's really working. I mean, in this world, in this ghetto cesspool of indie film. The tragedy is never have we been gifted with so much capability and tools and possibility. The problem is everybody and their brother has filled the void with noise, and now we have to survive and navigate to the noise. And it's not even at our level. On the mainstream level, there's so much content, and there's so much crap being churned out by. I mean, Netflix movies almost always are like, wow, you guys, they're beautiful, right? They're impeccably produced. But it's like, that was a terrible script. Why did you greenlight that screenplay? And, these are really bad ideas. So even they're generating so much material. I don't even know how these people are making money, quite frankly. I think they're just chasing subscribers. As long as that subscriber number is up, they can generate interest on Wall Street and keep money going into the company. Whether or not, if you actually looked at the books, of which you'll never see, by the way, and even less so now, I think even some of these platforms have said, we're even going to stop publishing, and Nielsen can't get to their data. Nobody knows how these titles are performing. So when they spend $150 million on The Witcher, it's like, admittedly, what do they bring? I forget what Netflix is billing, like $500 million a month or something. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you got to wonder, how much does that go to The Witcher versus the 10,000 or 15,000 other titles that they represent? Nobody knows how that voodoo works.
I don't know how it works. I'm guessing there's some shady stuff. I'm guessing there's a bunch of tax write-offs. I have no idea how any of that shit works.
I think a lot of it is tax. I think a lot of business. I mean, quite frankly, I can sort of make money with tax write-offs on my own silly films, right? Oh, look at this great ladder. I got this cooler, which I put in the set. Now I got a ladder. That kind of crap. Hopefully.
So, okay. All right. So, Philip, how do I make another movie?
How do you make another movie?
Yeah. How do I make another narrative movie? I made this one. It probably won't make any money. It won't have any notoriety or anything. So what do I do now?
I don't think you're going to make any money on this movie, honestly.
I don't think so either.
I thought it was beautifully shot.
Thanks.
I thought your actors are great. I thought your idea was good. It was a little drawn out for me, to be quite frank.
Two guys in a room. Yeah.
It's two guys in a room. And I think if this film were 20 minutes, it would be a really compelling film. I'm just being very honest with you.
No, I mean, fine.
Technically, you got it all there. I don't know what your skill set is. I mean, you're obviously a talented editor. You know how to get a good crew together. You know how to make a good-looking picture. But it's got to be more than just two people in a box. So I saw, I don't know if we call it two people in a box. I finally saw Fall, the Tower movie with the two women.
Oh, yeah.
Tower. And it was basically two women in a box, but there were action beats. Two beautiful women, which never hurts, because I was thinking, well, what if we're two guys? Nah, wouldn't have worked as well. Had to be two really hot girls on a tower. That had to be part of it, right? That's part of the genre. They have to be in tank tops. If you're in a sci-fi film, all the women have to be in tank tops. It's a prerequisite in the sci-fi world. I didn't do that, by the way. I never played up the sex card. And everybody's always thought, dude, you should, put that as nah. I mean, I would if the narrative called for it, but I'm not going to just push it in there and go, oh, here's a gratuitous shower scene. I mean, really? Who needs that? I get embarrassed for these actresses when they do this stuff. It's like, oh my God, really? This is just awful. Anyway, that film, it was pretty good. logically, there are all kinds of flaws in it, but it worked. It had a great look. Low budget, $3 million picture, by the way. Low budget film. Low budget movie, $3 million. It did do $26 million though, so that's a hit. But I wouldn't put it. Terrifier is a whole different ball game because that was made for like the first one was made for like not even $100,000, like $50,000 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So that's a breakout movie.
Yeah.
But no, The Fall doesn't go into that. But then I was let's see a while. The Jodie Foster, what is it? She's in a room. It's like a bunker.
Panic Room.
Right? Panic Room.
Panic Room.
And
that's a David Fincher movie.
Yeah, David Fincher was a great filmmaker. But again, there are action beats. So even though it's a limited cast, people come out of that room with freaking right. They're killing people. They're shooting people. There's all kinds of action beats.
So yeah, well, for one, I will defend my movie because I do think it's good. But narratively, I think it's good too. I think the problem with my film is that if you had two named actors as the lead roles, there'd be an audience and people would like it. It's slow.
If it was
burn,
William Dafoe. William Dafoe is one of the actors.
Yeah.
and then who's the other one? That you know what? There you go.
But my point is, like, if they had named actors, I think the script is good and all that shit. I think it could be a slow burn movie. It's got its audience. It doesn't appeal to everyone for sure. But it made me come to a bunch of realizations insofar as thinking like, well, it's not marketable. I have an idea, I have a billion ideas, but I'm like, the next movie, it's got to have a great trailer. It's got to got a cool gimmick and it's got to have a good poster. And it's got to just be not trash, but you know what I mean? Almost just pure entertainment, less thoughtful, artsy kind of filmmaking.
Well,
more for the audience than
I like.
My take on this, for me, was I'm just trying to make a popcorn picture.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
And then Ghost Plan's like, I was trying to keep the pace up. It's kind of funny. It's serious. It's drama. It's got some exciting stuff. Things blow up. Hopefully you like the people. I don't know. I mean,
the characters, yeah. No, yeah. And I'm not talking about your movie. I'm talking about just like...
But I think you're right.
A mass appeal kind of thing where the majority of audiences don't want to think a lot. I don't think.
No.
Don't want to be challenged in any way, and because of social media, their attention span is so limited.
2
now.
seconds. It's 2 seconds.
So
I'm teaching sixth graders.
on social media, when I'm going through Instagram, I have 2 seconds to make an impression, and that movies are the same. I mean, if people are training themselves on 2-second impressions, that's your movie audience. When people say that, some people have said Ghost Planet was slow. It's like, really? I'm not sure what more I could take out of it. I mean, it's like, well, like I could type. I mean, at a certain point, does it even matter? Like, do we even need characters? Do we just need to go from one explosion, one set of boobs, or some other purient thing after another? So you're completely right about the attention span. And in this low, no budget realm, I think it has to have a gimmick, right? It's got to have
some sort of gimmick, and then that gimmick, you got to go somehow viral with it in some way. Otherwise, again, you're gonna be lost to obscurity.
Yeah.
It's bleak.
Yeah,
but
it is.
But I still want to make another movie. I don't know. I can't help it.
Well, if I were you, I would let the film school Stanley Kubrick part of you go and just sort of embrace. You guys, you run the B movie channel. You right, and so you know exactly what works and what appeals to you, and finding the elegant way to appeal to that audience. I think that's the key. Look at that. I use the word elegant. That's the key word. Elegant way of appealing to the B movie audience. And I like to think, maybe that's what I'm doing. But look, yeah, I mean, I know you can see the rivets in the wall, you can see all the flaws and warts in the picture, but like in Gladiator, did I entertain you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you not entertained? bitches.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, people. This is the sad thing. So many people need permission to like something. What did you think of that Star Wars film? Oh, I really like it. Oh, I like it too. Oh, yeah, that's Star Wars. Yeah. Romulus, man. Romulus. Oh, that alien. Have you noticed how tepid the reviews are for Romulus, the alien picture?
I was very disappointed myself.
So either they kind of couch it. It's like, well, if you're a real alien purist, it may not work for you. But if you really want the repeat of this, it might work for you. And like, I'm done with Dan. I have no interest in seeing this picture. It's like, you know what? Nah. It looks like a bunch of, CW, beautiful 20-something years old. I'm sorry, a space crew of beautiful 20-year-olds going on. They're all going to get eaten. Yeah, it's like, come on, where the hard driver, tobacco chewing tugboat drivers, right? I mean, that's what Alien was so great about. These were not attractive people. I mean, you had the one, and even Sigourney Weaver was so sweaty and oily and unmade up, which made her so sexy in the picture. But this is like, I could believe that woman, dealing with a bunch of farty dudes on a tugboat, right? I bought that. It's great. And I empathize with them. There's no character development except the gravitas of those performers. And Alien's a great movie, man. It always would be a great. Do I need a bunch of beautiful, perfect, loving, these, whatever. That's me. That's my old man rant.
Yeah, I mean, and I probably will do the exact same old man rant if you ask me about Alien Romulus, but maybe we're just too old at this point. It's not for us anymore.
Well, look, come on, come up with another. We could tell another monster in space movie.
Well,
it doesn't have to be the face hugger.
But look, if you come up with an original idea that's an original IP and stuff, we're talking about it now. We can't get an audience. It's impossible to get an audience. So you got to remake the same damn thing over and over again because the audience need to be like, I remember that from Aliens. Yeah. That line's from Aliens. This is why I like it. You know what I mean? It has to be something they can already relate to.
They're stuck in a publicity trap. And so it's like, well, we're afraid to do anything new. It's great because if you know anything about the history of Star Wars, it's like, Star Wars? What the hell does that even mean? This is what space. What? Just sneak that thing. Like now, Star Wars is a cultural bedrock of American culture. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, nobody they dismissed it. It was silly. It was stupid. Nobody knew what they had. They didn't realize they were sitting on the world had shifted. They didn't even know it. They don't want to take the risk, and it's expensive, particularly when they're. Oh my God! I mean, they spent $150 million on a movie, and they spent another $80 million promoting it to game the algorithm to give you permission to like it. And then when these rogue critics come out, and the ones that aren't controlled by mainstream media, and they shit on it, and then they try to stifle them, like Rotten Tomatoes, man. I don't buy them anymore either. They're already gamed. They're gamed out. Rotten Tomatoes, all these review sites, IMDb. Seriously, you think IMDb is going to give a 1-star review to the Rings of Power? They're owned by Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So that ain't going to happen. You're never going to get a real accounting of how much people hated the Rings of Power.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't miss anything.
Okay.
And I love the Lord of the Rings. I just absolutely love them. And I don't know what they were thinking.
I mean, it's hard. It is hard, but I don't know. You should be proud. You should still be proud. Ghost Planet's a fun movie. We're gonna save what we really think of it till you're not here anymore. But I did. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure everyone will have enjoyed it. I mean, we've enjoyed all of your movies.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
The worst thing that happens is when someone gives you a 1 out of 10 and doesn't justify their criticism at all. Mm-hmm. We won't do that.
I don't know that I could ever give a movie a 1, and this is partially because as a content creator, and I don't think you could ever give a movie a 1. I mean, I can't even. It would have to be the most offensive, egregious, I just venile thing for me to go, oh my God, this is so toxic. This should be locked in the trunk and hidden somewhere.
There's a large portion of people who don't understand that there's a difference between them subjectively it just not being for them. I don't like slow burn sci-fi horror movies or whatever, or thrillers. Then why are you watching one? Because it's not for you. You know what I mean? So That's just not everything is for everyone.
Not considering the amount of work and time and effort that went into making anything.
Yeah, no, that's never considered.
You know, I think the cat has ever been a creator. Anybody who's ever written, performed on stage, anybody who's ever been involved in a play, anybody who's actually made something and put it out there, and you're very vulnerable, right? You made this thing and you put it in a public space. Maybe it's a fair or whatever. Is never going to shit on somebody's work. And it's those people who don't create that I think will shit on people's work, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
So what's your next? You're making another movie. You just don't know it yet.
Well, you know, all I'm doing is relentlessly trying to come up with clever ways of, you know, talking about, you know, making little clips and fun little things. And so the social media thing for me right now, I realized I've squandered so much time because I've got 8 movies out right now. Yeah. They're all on Tubi TV. And so now I'm just nonstop trying to get eyeballs. Despisers coming out again on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For the 3rd. I know. Oh my God. Somebody just released, they're releasing troll dolls. You're going to die. Little troll dolls. I was like, are you kidding me? And so, you know, some of my friends go, hey, so should I release my film on, should I get a DVD release? So a lot of these films are 2 people in a box. And I said, I don't think so, because there's nothing repeat value in this particular, like, Despiser, you can always put it in, you can always find a stupid scene and love it, or there's something visual, there's something extravagant about it. I just don't see a lot of these really introspective films being, oh my God, let's pull that one off the shelf again and let's watch this scene again. So anyway, I'm flattered that it's coming out again. But you know, I'm trying to do the same thing for Outer World. I'm trying to do the same thing with Vader and Malice. Malice was also low-hanging fruit. We never did finish the story. It's just so difficult now. The actress has moved on, and everybody wants her. And you know, it's just hard to keep people, because they're not making any money on it. I'm not making any money on it.
No.
And I can kind of keep things going by other means, but you know, actors, oh my God, I don't know how anybody could be an actor, because you're in the rejection business. And then when you finally get something, and woohoo, I'm going to get something. This is going to put me on the map. But it didn't. It didn't put you on the map, because you didn't go to LA and you didn't suffer and win the freaking lottery and get cast into some show at the 11th hour. And it's hard to kind of keep people really, and you know how hard it is to find talented people who are willing to work with you. Particularly, it's non-SAG. Chris, was your film non-SAG?
Non-SAG, yeah.
Yeah, and SAG is, you know, they give you this low-budget film agreement. It's just torture for a filmmaker. So whatever dollars you'd get for your film, if you did a SAG film, it's all going to go to SAG first. Which means when you finally do get your $1,000 or $2,000, you don't even get that, because it's going to the SAG deferment thing. And it's just, it's hard. This is why hard. When people invite me to speak about, let's get Phil Cook talk about independent films. Like, you know, I'm going to be probably a Debbie Downer in this conversation. I'm not going to say, oh, come on, kids. We can all do this. We can all make movies now. We all have the tools. We all have the cameras. We all have Final Cut Pro and Premiere, and we can do all these amazing things. Like, good luck with that.
You can.
You can.
Absolutely. And it requires a whole lot of perseverance and motivation. And you know, you're talking about actors facing rejection. Well, being a filmmaker is 100% rejection too.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. For me, it's just something that I feel compelled to create stuff. So I can't help it. You know what I mean?
You and I have the same disease, dude.
It's like this is stupid. Why am I doing this?
There's a vaccine coming out. There's a vaccine coming out called poverty.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way to get it soon. Where
you've got kids? You've got kids, right, Chris?
I do. Yeah.
Is the little girl in your movie your daughter?
Yes.
I thought so. She's adorable.
Thank you. Yeah, she's actually a pretty good actress too.
Yeah. She's probably grown since you made that picture too.
Yeah, she's 13 now. I think she was probably like 11 or 10 or 11 when we shot it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's also like you put in 3 or 4 years of your life to get the movie out there and it makes no money. It's pretty depressing, but
that's what I tell my friends. So I'm thinking about making a movie. He says, really? I'm going to tell you, no, we're going to start shooting. This is going to be minimally 2 years, probably 4. And that's actually the amazing thing about Pungo. This is what I actually am proud about Pungo. We made it for $8,000 and I did it in a year.
That's really
From
good.
Conception to release to distribution in a year. And it's like, I mean, I couldn't do it with this one because there was so much going on. But
Well, I got 2 things. 1, leave us on a positive note about filmmaking. And then 2, tell us where everybody can find you, follow you on social and all that fun stuff.
Well, we have the tools. If you have the imagination, you can find an audience. For the first time, you can self-distribute. You can shoot things. You don't need labs. You don't need a huge amount of money. If you have a vision and some luck and some creativity, there is no stopping you. I mean, that is absolutely the possibility and the truth of what is possible. Unique, not derivative, right? You got to find your own voice. So that's the exciting part. And to find me, oh my gosh, Tubi, man, I guess you can find, if you actually just type in Phillip Cook on Tubi, all my movies will come up. All 8 of them. So we've done Despiser, Outer World, Invader, 3 Malice movies, Pungo, A Witch's Tale, and Ghost Planet. And they're all just silly, fun, crazy fantasy adventures.
Hell yeah. And we here are all fans, and we really appreciate you coming on, talking with us.
Well, thank you. This was fun. I knew it was going to be fun.
Yeah. I would love to work on one of your movies someday when you're on.
All right. Well, you're not far.
No, hit me up.
Yeah, you and Austin will come down. I'll get you both involved this time.
I'll drag his butt down.
Package deal.
Yeah.
Package deal. All righty, man.
All right.
Hey, thanks so much. It was great meeting you both.
Yes, thanks again, man.
All right, bye.